was just for fun. Those days are gone. Living alone, I think of all the friends I've known. But when I dial the telephone, nobody's home. All by myself, don't wanna be all by myself anymore. All by myself, don't wanna live all by myself anymore. Hard to be sure. Sometimes I feel so insecure, and love so distant and obscure remains the cure.
Drives the basket for two.
No timeouts left.
No challenge for Towson. And this one is going to go to Delaware. How about the Fighting Blue Hens of Newark? It's the first ever 12 seed to make the Coastal Championship game.
Unbelievable day. What a great win, great night.
All right, folks. That's a great Dave Bryant on the call for Sports Network, our good friend. And Towson came up short this past Monday, losing to their neighbors to the north in Newark, 87-72. So Pat Scary's season is over. We don't know where they're going to be. They'll probably not be going to a NCAA tournament game. They might go to an NIT or maybe a.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking the NIT because they won the regular season CAA. So I think that clinches a spot in the NIT.
But if they're going to be hosting it, that's the question. So
I think they should.
Yeah. You're wondering what we heard in the beginning of the show. That the song was from Eric Hartman, All by Myself. It was number 2 on this date in 1976 on March 13th, 1976. So today is the 13th of March, and we appreciate you all joining us here tonight. Coming up shortly, former Oriole, former Met, who is now a San Diego State baseball coach, Tony Tarasco, should be joining us via audio. And then Chris Knoche should be joining us from Indianapolis. We're going to be coast to coast tonight, folks. So we're going to be from San Diego up to Seattle to Indianapolis to Baltimore to I think we're going to Reno,
Akron, Ohio.
Yep, Akron, Ohio. We're going to Reno. I feel like Casey Kasem. We're coast to coast here on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So and then. A gentleman wrote a book about it's called The Last Manager, about Earl Weaver. John W. Miller will be joining us. Not John Miller, the broadcaster, the John Miller, the writer, but if you put a W in it. And he wrote a book about Earl Weaver and his career and all that stuff. So it's going to be a very interesting evening, and I hope everybody will enjoy it tonight. So we're going to wait for Tony Tarasco to join us, but we'll talk about some other things going on around here. We will have, there it is. I got that one already there. Maryland will be the number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament, and they haven't won a tournament since 2004 when they were a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference. So hopefully they'll try to break that streak. They play tomorrow night. We'll talk to Chris Knoche about that as well, coming up at 7:15. What else is going on here?
Chris. I don't know if you heard this, but earlier today, the great John Feinstein.
Yes, I did put that in here. So hold on a second.
It's like that's.
Yeah, he passed away at age 68. We don't know if he had complications or anything, or he just died in his sleep. But I feel like when your time is up, your time is up.
Yeah. What a legend. What a legend.
Yeah, so our condolences go out to his family and the folks in Washington, D.C., because they lost a very good sports writer.
Did.
So it's pretty sad. We've got some Major League news and notes. I know you're pretty happy about this. The Metropolitans lose to the Red Sox today in Port St. Lucie. And I think I have that little clip here. Hold on here. Here it is. They lost to the Red Sox 3-2, and it was an interesting game, but it wasn't televised anywhere. It was basically on their website. So hold on, let me bring up some. I'm trying to bring up a video here. It was working. Anyway, so we see at the bottom line here. Let me pull this up. I didn't put the scroll thing up. Yeah, I did. Okay, there it is at the bottom. Okay. Yeah, so if you guys want to log in, there's what you can do.
That's right. And the MLB scores are though. Yeah. So we do have we're like ESPN. We have a MLB ticker for you guys. So.
Yeah. Here's the Orioles today. They played the Blue Jays, and some guy. Oh, here's the clip finally after a while. So here's the clip. One of the Hamilton for the Red Sox. I guess he drove in a run. So it's or he looked like he had a homer. He's rounding the bases. Yeah, rounding the bases. Yeah. So the Mets lost today. Anthony Santander played against the Orioles for the first time, being a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. And he had a chance to talk to the media before, to the Orioles media. And here's a quick clip about somebody asked him, did you ever thought about going to re-sign with the Orioles? So here it is.
No, zero chance. Zero chance at all. They make an offer, but it wasn't even close. We get it. We understand. It's a business side. Mike is really smart about it. We're smart about it too. So you have to be patient. Toronto just gave me the opportunity. They were fighting some days.
All right. So he said there was zero chance because they lowballed him. But that's just what business is in Major League Baseball. You can't really help
that. That's true, Chris. Yeah. And
yeah. So also other news, I guess Tampa is deciding that they're not going to be playing the I'm going to remodel the stadium. Or get a new stadium because they backed out of it today. And let me pull this one up here. I'm waiting for Tony Tarasco to join us. Hopefully he knows. He's from Brooklyn, New York, so he should know the East Coast time, like we always do. But
yes,
hopefully he didn't. I have a funny feeling he's probably going to think it's 10 o'clock Eastern. Yeah. So anyway, so the mayor of Tampa, Mayor Welsh, said his trust with the current ownership of the Rays has been broken. He goes, that bridge has been burned. So I'm trying to get the clip for you. It's a 3-minute clip. Also, he added that the mayor said that the deal fell apart and was wondering what's next. And what's next for Tampa? Do you think? Yeah, the Rays will be packing up and moving to Nashville because Nashville brought out some hats the other day.
Did. I mean, we've heard talks about Nashville wanting a major league team,
right.
Even Charlotte.
Well, Charlotte could be a great destination for major league because that ballpark down there at Bank of America Stadium next to the Panthers, it's very nice. It's right in the city limits and easy to get on the cat and to get down there to pick up a game, and it's not in a bad neighborhood. Yeah.
No, it's. Yeah. I mean,
here's the interview with Mayor Welsh of Tampa talking about the deal that was broken.
The city's going to live up to our obligations under the current operating agreement. That includes repairing the trial. That means they're there through 2028 if we keep our schedule. And so we'll meet our obligations. I have no interest in working with this ownership group. They've got a set of agreements that they signed July 31st or August 1st of last year that we all agreed to. Why would I go back to the same group and trust them this time? That bridge has been burned. We'll meet our obligations. If there's a new ownership group, I'm perfectly willing to have that conversation. Look, we have done, as I said, in the state of the city, everything possible. The plan we put together, if you remember when we started, what I said we needed to do: extraordinary partnership, city, county, council, commission, and we did everything. We checked every box. We had an unprecedented amount of public funding committed, ready to bond, move forward. We had the agreements for the full 86 acres moving forward. And that was a very tough negotiation process, and Rob led that process. And as he said, there are many levers. The reason the land was sold at a lower price was because all cost overruns would be borne by the Rays. And so we've done everything possible. I don't think a local government team could have done a better job than we have moving forward. And, I'm disappointed that, when we started on a whiteboard. I got a big whiteboard over there. I hope y'all covered it up. Okay. Talking about priorities. What are the priorities for the city? What are the priorities for the Rays? And we came up with a consensus, a group of issues we could work on. Keeping your word is very important. Keeping the trust of a community is very important. The descendants of the gas plant were part of this process. And if you look at the folks who supported this, from the NAACP to the Police Benevolent Association, the Chamber, and a number of groups in between and individuals, this met the priorities of our city going forward. And that's really the most disappointing part of that the Rays ownership did not understand how important that priority is. Now we're going to go forward and working with council. I want to have the same kind of equitable development plan, but it'll be smaller in scale. It won't be a grand slam. It'll be a base hit, a double. Now I also want to say that we want to move forward in a way that doesn't preclude, if there's new ownership in the next year or two or four, that understands our priorities, is willing to build bridges, willing to rebuild that partnership with the city council and the county commission that has really been damaged, then we'll do our development in a way, and this is the plan I want to take to council and the community, that allows that baseball development to happen. But it's not going to put on hold the other development that we have been waiting for 40 years when I was in high school. I hope that one of the pictures around here shows it. So, the city and county have done everything possible. I'm very proud of the effort they put forward.
So it's a lot of issues down there in Tampa. Now, Tampa's going to be playing at Steinbrenner Field this year because of the hurricane last year took Milton, right? Milton took it out. Yeah. So I see that this franchise will be moving.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. It's sad that this team was a couple of years ago, one win away of going to win the World Series.
Yeah.
In 2020. And I guess I guess money talks, and and I guess they're upset because they want to get the trop fixed, and I guess they haven't got anything done. That roof, that roof was torn off by the strong winds from the hurricane. So, but it's sad that baseball is and Adam, down there in Florida is not really known for baseball because it's really known for spring training.
True, that's true, Chris. Yeah.
And you got a lot of New York transplants down there in Tampa and Orlando and Miami, for with Mets and Yankees come to town, or the Red Sox or whoever's down there, and to me it's just sad.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to people who I work with up here, who used to live in Tampa, went to Rays games, and you call when you watch Tampa Bay Rays on TV. You see no one in the stands, and it's sort of sad. It's like, I mean, you could take your family to a Major League Baseball game, and it's like, have a really cool experience and not see any fans there. It's like, I mean,
well, I had a coworker told me yesterday that they didn't sell out for postseason games.
That's crazy.
Like your team's in a postseason, it should be like selling that sucker out.
Oh, I mean, if I lived down there, I would go watch the Rays. I mean, why not?
Why not? But, well, it's sad, but that's what's going on down there. So we wish them the best. We're still waiting for whoever's going to log in. Might be Tarasco, might be Chris Knoche. Chris Knoche logged in last night, thought it was the show.
Really?
I'm like, no, it's tomorrow night. He's like, oh. I'm like, it's okay. I'm glad you practiced.
Yeah.
So hopefully he remembers, and I didn't send him a text message because I hope he reads his phone. So hopefully we'll see it. But anyway, we'll see who will log in first here, and we'll go from there. Birthdays today. This guy celebrating a birthday. He was, we'll play a clip here for him real quick here. The only Met pitcher no. This is the first no-hitter in New York Mets history. So Johan Santana's birthday. So here's the final pitch of his no-hitter.
He struck him out. It has happened. In their 51st season, Johan Santana has thrown the first no-hitter in New York Mets history.
All right, that was Johan Santana's birthday today. Let's bring in Tony Tarasco. He's on the video, on the audio side. So, hi Tony, how you doing?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you today?
Doing good. Thank you so much for logging in. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. I appreciate your patience. There's a little bit of hecticness before I could get the call in, but I am present and available for a great conversation.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you logging in. So last Thursday, we tried to get you on because you played your team, San Diego State, played against Northeastern. So what's it like playing against Mike Lavin and the folks there?
Well, you talking about the staff and the players from Northeastern?
Yeah. The staff and the Mike Lavin is the brother of Tom Glavin.
Yes, I do know that. I tell you what, I enjoyed the competition against those guys. They played competitively. Obviously, they swept us, but I will tell you they were good ball games. You saw quality baseball all the way around. You saw guys who knew the fundamentals of the game. You saw guys who executed, and you saw a lot of guys who stepped up in the clutch for them.
That's true. Adam, you have a question for him?
I do. So, Tony, when you were a member of the New York Mets, what was it like to face the team that I pull for, your rival, the Atlanta Braves?
Well, so that did play against the Braves on Mets. A more intimate side of that would be when I was traded from the Braves to the Montreal Expos in '95.
Yes.
So, that might be the more intimate experience. Why? Is because you went from your neighborhood you were growing up in to playing against the neighborhood you grew up in. Like, I was so lucky, incredibly grateful, and lucky to have the staff members around me who helped develop me as a ball player. I'll give you an example of that. I had Willie Stargell as the hitting coordinator, along with Hank Aaron, right? Tack Wilson. Those were the hitting guys. Jay Ward. These were the hitting guys who I had an opportunity to work with coming up. I played under Grady Little for 3 years in minor leagues. Grady really helped form me as a ball player and helped me understand my role as a ball player. I also had an opportunity to play for Ned Yost. And so there's, I'm naming guys off here just on the minor league side that helped develop me. And then obviously playing for Bobby Cox, playing alongside and learning the game from the late Pat Corrales, that type of mentorship growing up. I don't know if I'd have been the ball player I was without them.
Yeah.
If you want to move to the players that I was lucky enough to come up with, I came up with Javi Lopez, Mike Kelly, Melvin Nieves, Chipper Jones, Klesko. I saw Greg McMichael make the turnaround of his career in Double-A. By the way, the Double-A team, the 1992 Greenville Braves with 106 wins that season, was a fantastic team. Matter of fact, every player and one from that team played at the major league level.
Right.
Right. So that was just, again, that was 92. Then 93, it was another, fantastic year playing with those guys.
Right.
So the whole system in itself, the way they produce ball players, the type of ball players they produced, I was lucky enough to be a part of them. So getting an opportunity to play against them, shortly after a trade was fun. There was so it was interesting. You play competitively, and it still brought me a lot of joy, but I had no resentment. There was no, these guys traded me, I'm going to show them what I got. It was just, let's go out here and compete. Let's have fun. I'm playing against my friends from my other neighborhood. And I played well against them. I will tell you this, though. In 1995, I got suspended for charging the mound. And back in 1995, the player was allowed to pick the days of their suspension.
Okay.
And you better believe that I picked Glavin, Smoltz, and Avery to take the day off.
Good boy, Tony. Good boy.
That's cool. Real quick before we let it go, because we have a lot of people and we don't have a lot of time flexible right here, but you were with the Mets for a year, and then you went to the Nationals, and then you became a coach. What's it like being in college right now with these young players?
I love it. First of all, I'm grateful. San Diego State University is a wonderful university. Obviously, the environment and the atmosphere is a great place to play. Sean Cole, the head coach, does a great job of creating an environment for guys to grow and play at their best level of baseball. And so that's happening there. The first thing that took a second to get used to is the sound of that aluminum bat. That was a little awkward for about 2 months. But that was about it. You got hungry ball players. You got kids with talent who are on the quest for self-mastery. And so you're teaching baseball. You're teaching fundamental baseball. There, you miss some things about the pro level, and there's some things about the college level that I really enjoy that I wouldn't trade in.
That's cool. Well, Tony, we'll have to get you on another time, but we'll thank you for logging in and talking to us real quick. But we'll get you on a little more when we have more time, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, folks. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right. You guys take it easy.
Thanks,
All right, that's Tony Tarasco. We'll get him on another time. So let's bring in Chris Knoche here. We do apologize for the delay here because we got some, everybody's, doing stuff here. So let's bring in Chris. Hi, Chris. So sorry about that. Tony Tarasco logged in right when you did it at the same time. So trying to get everybody in at the same time. But I do appreciate taking some time this evening. So how's Indy? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. How's Indianapolis today? Pretty good.
It's 75 and gorgeous. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's lots to like about it. It's a great city for this kind of event. It's everything is really close together downtown. The arena is terrific, and and we got a good team here. So there's a lot to like about the weekend. Hopefully, it's a long one.
Yeah. Talk about tomorrow. They play the winner against Illinois or Indiana, Illinois or Iowa. They beat Illinois pretty badly at their neck of the woods a month or so ago. And then they play Iowa a couple weeks. So you have no advantage here in March because everybody is fresh as a new season now. So it doesn't mean what you did in February. It's something you did today.
Yeah, I've got the game on here as we're talking, and right now it's defense optional. It's 49-42 Illinois, and they haven't even gotten to halftime. Both teams are lighting it up right now. Iowa had a tough game last night. They won to advance to this game. I got to believe in the second half they'll fade a little bit. Illinois is playing as well as anybody. Illinois, Oregon, Michigan State, and Maryland, us too, have all come in here playing their best basketball. So I expect we'll be seeing the Illini tomorrow night, and it's a tough game. When we beat them in the middle of January at Illinois, it was a great win for us. It kind of turned the season around, but they didn't have their big guy. And he makes a big difference. He's a kind of a dual threat, inside, outside, mostly outside. But he's also the big body that they missed. Julian Reese just ate Illinois up at Illinois.
So talk about Julian because he seems like he's coming into his own now. Like last year or 2 years ago, he was in foul trouble a lot and all that stuff. Now he's coming in his own. He's and he has people around him now. So last year he was the guy and Maryland didn't do well and didn't get to the tournament or anything. Now he has good pieces around him, good transfers that came in. Now it feels like everything's good gelling around him.
Yeah, to your point, he's been able to keep himself on the floor. The foul trouble hasn't been an issue. I think also he just matured across the board. He knows that he doesn't have to be he doesn't have to be the primary guy offensively. There are a lot of weapons on this team, and I think he's comfortable with that. The other thing is I think he's really matured as a leader. I see him. He's very vocal during timeouts and in huddles. He also has done a really good job, I think, in terms of mentoring Derek Queen. They're inseparable on the road. Where you see one, you see the other, and part of that is that relationship. They've gone back a long ways. Those guys played together, 5-6 years ago, so they know each other. They know each other well. And I think that's a part of the way that Queen has matured as well as the season has gone on. He's playing much better than he was early in the season.
Exactly. And you have a question for Chris?
I do. So Chris, where do you expect Maryland which quadrant do you expect Maryland to go to when the official NCAA men's tournament bracket is released on Sunday night?
Yeah, that's $1 million question, right? I mean, It's one of 8 places. I will tell you this. I don't think they have any chance of going to the Southern Regionals, which would be Raleigh or Lexington. I think those are going to be packed full of SEC and ACC probably. I think more likely, it could be as close, and I'm knocking on wood here, as close as Providence, maybe Cleveland. And hell, depends on where we get seated. We could be shipped out west somewhere. It's, you take the tournament is all about kind of the bracket you're in and the opportunities you have. So, teams playing, like I said, the team's playing well, so you feel like you can take on anybody.
Yeah, we have Shelby coming on, who does the bracketology, and he has Maryland picked to go to Denver to take on Liberty University down at Lynchburg. At the 13-4 matchup, Maryland 4, Liberty 13. But right now, these are just crapshoot. People just making them all these predictions, and we'll see the real thing on Sunday night on CBS.
Yeah, and you know what? My whole family's out in Colorado, so it's kind of good news, bad news for me if we went out there. The good news is I'd get to see them. The bad news is they crush me for tickets. So, if wherever we go, we'll be fine. Looking forward to the opportunity to get back in the tournament.
Yeah. So just talk about the Big Ten. It's really fascinating that Michigan State is the number 1 seed. I know every year this time, Michigan State's always in March Madness. Always they come out of nowhere, the woodwork. If you see them in November, you're wondering if Tom Izzo is getting old, and and also in the times in the middle of February, they're right there. It's like the New York Yankees. They're right there. Like what do they do? What does Tom Izzo do to get them fired up, knowing that when it comes to February 1st, you got to kick it in high gear?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we all knew that, then there'd be more guys who were capable of pulling that off.
Right.
It's a lot more art than science, I think, and he's just got that way about him. He's tough on his kids. He holds them accountable. I tell you what, I mean, that game where we played them, where they hit the buzzer beater to win that game, it was two teams fighting tooth and nail. It's one of those things that you don't really appreciate if you're watching it on TV, but if you're down there courtside, just how hard Michigan State plays. I mean, they got 10 guys they throw at you. It's a effort-based offense and defense. They club you. They make the game incredibly physical. And, I think that's just part of the recipe. His teams, you have to do two things to beat them. One is you have to rebound. Their rebounding margin every year is always 8, 9, 10 rebounds per game, plus 8, 9, or 10. That's enormous, particularly in February and March.
Yeah.
And they make transition offensively. They're not a particularly gifted team offensively, but they get easy baskets because they really push it up the floor. And he's been doing this forever. He has been, he's got the same recipe every single year, and it seems to work for him.
Exactly. Adam, you have the last question before
Sure. So, just talk about the overall status of the Big Ten this year, because you got you guys and Michigan State, and Michigan has had a solid year. So, what's your overall take on how good the Big Ten has been this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredibly competitive. I think the last bracket I looked at, there were 9 Big Ten teams in there. There's a lot that gets sort of figured out this week. And for instance, earlier today, I watched Oregon and Indiana play, and I just felt like watching that game. That might have been it for Indiana. They may have played their way off that bubble, and it's unfortunate for the league. It's unfortunate for all the Hoosier fans that were in that building today. But yeah, I mean, it's been a really good year. A lot of parity. I think in contrast to, I grew up in Virginia, and of course, sort of an ACC guy for years, and was with Maryland when we were in the ACC. And I really have embraced the Big Ten. I love the parity, the strength at the top. The ACC, in contrast, you got 2 or 3 good teams, and then there are 10 or 12 or 15 terrible teams. It's awful basketball.
Yeah.
So I think the Big Ten continues to get better. While it's tough on you travel wise to go to Oregon and Washington and then UCLA and USC. It makes the league just that much more competitive. UCLA is very good. Their Final Four good. So. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good year in the league. I hope it bears out in the tournament, because I hate it when people, again, there's a certain amount of luck involved in the big dance, and I hate it when people say, well, the Big Ten was overrated.
Right.
Sometimes it's just a matter of where you get put, who your opponents are, and where your opponents are, and, all that has to come together.
Yeah, exactly. Before I let you go, how's your podcast doing? Because I know you have Gary Williams and the former Louisville Greyhound, what's his name?
Jimmy Passos.
Yeah, Jimmy Passos and all that stuff. How's the podcast going?
Yeah, it's been great. I think this is our 8th or 9th year, and we're going to record our last one on Monday after the brackets come out, and it's been a lot of fun. It keeps us close. Gary, we have a couple other guys as well. Ed Tapscott, who works for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Gordon Austin, who is a guy who I played with in college. And so we have a lot of fun with it. We usually have a coaching guest on. We've had all the big names in the country, whether it was Izzo, Jay Wright, we've had virtually everybody on there. So it's a labor of love, and hopefully we can keep that going.
That's cool.
Chris, if you ever need 2 guests, Chris and I are available to come on your podcast.
Well,
right, Chris?
As it is, we have 5 guys, and sometimes we're all fighting for mic time as it is.
No, I got you. I got you, Chris. All right.
Exactly. Well, Chris, you can listen to Chris Knoche and the voice of the Terrapins of Johnny Holiday tomorrow night if you're here in Maryland on 105.7 on the Maryland Sports Radio Network, or you can listen on XN Radio. And Chris, who's buying dinner out there in Indianapolis? Johnny, what's his big paycheck, or you?
Johnny's got alligator arms, man. You know, I mean, and the other thing is you know he likes the blue plate special. He's out there with the early birds. So
St. Elmo's is good from what I've heard, Chris. You know,
what's that?
I said St. Elmo's is really good in downtown Indianapolis from what I've heard.
It's spectacular. This is a town of great restaurants and great bars, and so yeah, we're going to try and get out and sample all of them.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's cool.
Have some seafood for us.
Yes,
perfect. We'll do.
All right, Chris. Thank you so much. Have a great broadcast tomorrow.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
See you.
Chris.
All right, that's the great Chris Knoche joining us here on the show. You can listen to that game on the Maryland Sports Radio Network. The game's supposed to be at 6:30. I think the pregame show will be at 5:30 with Mike Popovic will be doing the pregame. So, but before we bring this next guy in, we have a little introduction. He wrote a book about this wonderful manager here in Baltimore. So here is a clip from 1982 from the good Harrel.
You are bearing witness to one of the most remarkable scenes maybe that you will ever see in sport. Yes, the fans have stayed. They have stayed to cheer and to honor the retiring manager of the Birds of Baltimore, a man who in 15 years has become an absolute legend. The defeat will hurt. There's Harvey Keene over to congratulate him, and Earl Weaver is crying, and you can understand it. Very rarely has there been a scene like this, if ever. These people of this city, a city that has become a beautiful city under a brilliant mayor with an inner harbor equivalent of Boston, and that's Edward Bennett Williams, the owner, the great criminal attorney. And there they are standing and chanting, all of them in unison. And the sign says it all. Earl, and you deserve it. You've been one of the greatest managers in the history of the game.
That's right.
All right, folks, that's the great Earl Weaver, and this gentleman wrote a wonderful book called The Last Manager. Let's bring John Miller joining us. John Miller. John, thank you so much for joining us, and that's a great introduction to you and your book. What's it like writing a book about Earl Weaver? I met him once when he was still around. He was down at Camden Yards, and it was one of those beautiful weekends. They brought back all the old players, and I was intimidated by him because I know this is Earl Weaver, and he could yell at you in 5 minutes and yell at you and get you out of the dugout. But what was it like? Did you get a chance to meet the guy? How did you get this book all come about?
Well, first of all, I mean, can you believe the passion in that clip you played? I mean, that gave me goosebumps. I mean, when was the last time you saw 50,000 people cheering in unison like that after a loss too? I mean, just an incredible moment of American sports history there. So I know I never met Earl Weaver. Our connection, if you will, is that I wrote his obituary when I was on staff at the Wall Street Journal. I was covering the steel industry in Pittsburgh, but I played college baseball at Mount St. Mary's in Maryland, and the sports desk at the Wall Street Journal knew that I was a baseball nut, that I'd scouted for the Orioles, that I had all this baseball knowledge, and so they asked me to write his obituary. And as I was writing it, I thought, man, this story is so incredible. What a life he had. What a transformative figure. He's in the book Moneyball. He's in all these books about analytics. Why has nobody looked at his legacy properly? Why has nobody figured out where he came from, where he got his ideas? What was the backstory of this little guy who became a Baltimore folk hero and one of the most important transformative figures in baseball history?
Yeah, and it's funny that everybody still uses his quirkiness, like hit for the 3-run. You do a 3-run homer, and you do small ball, and that's what he did back in the 70s. And it's funny that you don't see that now in baseball anymore. Yeah, it's like everybody wants the analytics of like 450-foot shot with an arch angle of like 115 feet, and like who cares? Just hit the ball.
Well, what's amazing about him is that he evolved over time. So in the beginning of his career, he bunted actually a lot and played, small ball. And as he evolved, he realized that it was a not a good strategy, and he started embracing power more. But the fundamental core sort of Earl Weaver baseball really is pitching and defense. He was obsessed with strike throwing. He wouldn't tolerate anything else. He practiced defense at spring training much more than hitting. Paul Blair said that he never got blisters at Earl Weaver spring trainings because they didn't hit enough. All they would do is practice defense. So that was kind of the fundamental Earl Weaver brand. But yeah, I mean, he learned all this stuff for himself without a college degree and without computers. So he was the first manager to use data, pitcher batter matchup data to orchestrate pinch hits. He was the first manager to use a radar gun. And so he was always open to new ideas, and that's what makes him really special. But yeah, I mean, your point about him not, I mean, he didn't really have any interest in analytics or Moneyball after he retired. For him, he would just say it was common sense. But it was common sense born out from a lifetime. I mean, this was a guy who, when he was 4 years old, all he cared about was baseball. I found this questionnaire they sent these minor leaguers when he was 18 in the Western League in a small town in Missouri. And he wrote, they said other interests, and he just put none. Wow. All this guy ever cared about was baseball. And that's why, I mean, he was a really smart guy, but again, not educated, cussed like a sailor, drank like a fish, brought up in large part by an uncle who was a mobster, a tough guy from the streets of St. Louis, but, a brilliant and smart, but in the way of like a street hustler who was going to take all your money. Yeah, exactly. And before we get Adam ask a question, we do have a clip of him. He loves feisty umpires. It's just the classic, and I have a real quick clip of it. This is from 1980. Folks, I do apologize if there is any language on this, because this might be an unedited version, but so here it is.
Language.
Yeah, there's some language, but here's a little clip of it.
What are you doing here now? Well, why don't you call the league office and ask him? Yeah, I will. Oh, good. Don't think I won't. Good. And the quicker you get on, it'll be better too. Yeah. That's right. You ain't going nowhere. You aren't either. About 5, 10 fucking years to know who's in the Hall of Fame. Oh, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. You know it. Why? You know it. Fucking up World Series? You know it. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame? You know it. I've won more than I've lost, kid. I know you haven't. Games, count games. You don't even know nothing about. You better get going, huh? So I better get going. You better get going. What the hell are you doing? Tell me proof that you had your hands on me. Nah, that's wrong, Earl. Wrong.
Wow.
All right, 91 injections there, John, in his career. That's like the most. I think Bobby Cox probably broke the record, probably, but
Earl's fourth. Earl's fourth all time. He managed way fewer games than Bobby Cox.
Yeah, but it's great with that clip that he was like, "I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame." And go, "Okay, Earl, have a good one." Earl.
I tell people when I talk about the book for younger viewers, listeners, the only comparison that really puts it in the context is professional wrestling. I mean, in the way that hockey is kind of a sideshow of, fighting is a sideshow of hockey. Baseball used to have this sideshow of the umpire and the manager going at it like professional wrestlers, where the crowd would pick a side and they would just go wild. And Earl, I mean, they would work on their routines like they were a comedy duo. And Ron Shelton, the famous Hollywood director who wrote Bull Durham, told me he used this fight you just played to write the script of Bull Durham. The scene where Kevin Costner fights with the umpire was directly inspired by what you just played, the Earl Weaver and Bill Hader. So I have a whole chapter about that hot mic and how they got it, how it happened, how the Orioles tried to wrestle the tape away from the TV crew because they thought it would be like a public relations disaster, and how it became like this viral sensation, 1980s style, where every sports writer worth his salt would have a tape. They played at the winter meetings, and when a new Oriole would come on board, Mike Flanagan would play the tape for teammates and just to show them that this actually happened, because it's so outrageous and so funny. And like the manager's corner tape, which Earl recorded as a joke with Tom Marr. It's not only is it like vulgar, but it's just hilarious. And not only would no manager dare do this today, they wouldn't be smart enough in the way that Earl Weaver was smart, and that like just outrageous, hilarious, like street pitter patter, blah, blah, blah. I mean, only Earl Weaver could pull it off. And that's what makes him a great character.
Yeah. Yeah. So John, is there a fact about Earl Weaver that you did know until you wrote this book about him?
That I did not know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's lots I didn't know. I mean, I worked for a long time at the Wall Street Journal, where we would never, report or write anything if it was, already out there. I always think of like journalism as stuff you can't Google. So I wanted to find out, information about Earl Weaver that you can't Google or, read anywhere else. So I picked apart his memoirs. I mean, he wrote 3 books actually, which is a lot, where he like drops little clues. Like, for example, his uncle, who is the bookie and the mobster, he talks about him in his memoir, but doesn't give a lot of information. So I went back and researched in the St. Louis newspapers and found all these articles about how he was arrested every year for running illegal sports gambling operations, how he shot his wife once in the hip when they got drunk. I found police records, which really shows you that this guy was like a gangster and kind of a nasty character. And so Earl had this dark side to him, along with a lot of charm and wit, also like a streak of violence and anger. And so I think that's where that comes from, is this uncle who spent so much time with him. And so I didn't know any of that before I started reporting. I didn't realize he was such a good player. He was a team MVP 3 of his first 4 minor league seasons, and had a legitimate shot at the major leagues, and didn't make it after getting cut the last week by his own manager, Eddie Stanky, who wanted to make himself the backup second baseman to be a player manager. I hadn't realized the backstory of the video game, which is really interesting. How EA Sports, they wanted to make Madden football, but football is more complicated. 22 little players running around a field. And so first they decided to make baseball, which is more linear. And they said, who's the John Madden of baseball? Well, it's Earl Weaver. Let's get him out there. So Earl Weaver flew out to California and, basically in the tech sector, walked into this, shiny office building, and between chain smoking cigarettes, explained to these tech nerds how baseball really works. So I found that scene to be pretty amazing. And also, like, he's a bridge. I mean, he grew up in this world of train travel and vaudeville. And when he left the world and left baseball, it was computerized. And so he's a real interesting character, moving through not only different baseball eras, but different eras in America.
Wow. Yeah. That's, it's called, you have to tell me where I can get the book on, because I would love to get it and read it.
Well, it's available everywhere, bookstores, like bookshop.org or your local bookstore. It's also, the audiobook is incredible with an actor named Johnny Heller. And it's, if you have a Spotify account, you can listen to it as part of your Spotify. And so definitely recommend the audiobook or any format. And, obviously local bookstore for me is the best.
Thank you. I will listen to it on my Spotify.
Awesome.
That's cool. Well, John, sorry about that. My internet kind of had a little issue with something up here, but I appreciate you coming on tonight, and I hope we'll get you on another time. And thanks for coming on, and good luck with the book. Hopefully you get more people here in Baltimore.
Happy to talk to you anytime. All right. Good night.
See you. Bye. So sorry about that, guys. I was trying to load something up here, and you could actually found the book on Amazon. I saw it on Amazon.
I will have to get it. I will definitely have to get it.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. So if you want to if you want to read it, it's on baseball on Amazon. So
all I know is when our next guest gets here, Chris.
Well, he's actually here, so if you want to bring him in,
I will. So, all right, our next guest is an incredible gentleman. He was with the production crew with the PBA Tour. He has seen the best of the best compete, from our good friend Mike Albee, Walter Williams Jr., Mark Roth, Marshall Holman. And in 36 days, he is I'm happy that he is getting inducted into the PBA Tour Hall of Fame. And he's a huge Ohio sports fan in general. So joining us now is the Director of Communications for the United States Bowling Congress. He always treated me with respect. When I saw him, when I traveled to see the PBA Tour, I can't wait to see him when I head to Akron let's bring in the one, the only, Dave Schroeder. So, Dave, thanks so much for joining us tonight. I can't wait to see you when I head to Akron. So, just talk about the phone call you got from Tom Clark saying you were getting inducted into the PBA Tour Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Adam, thank you for that. Might have been the nicest introduction I've ever had. Anyway,
thank you.
Thanks. It's good to see you again, Adam. It's been a while. So great to see you.
Yes.
Chris, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. You know, when I got the call from Tom Clark, I was totally not expecting it. We were a guy named Damon Soraka, who I also used to work with on the tour, who was an assistant tournament director. We knew that Kirk Von Kruger was going to be in Indianapolis. Kirk was the longtime tournament director on the PBA tour. He had retired, but he was coming back just to work the U.S. Open in Indy. And so Damon and I, we live here in Akron. It's 4.5 hour drive. He said, hey, let's go see Kirk. Let's go have lunch with Kirk. Who knows when we'll ever see him again? He lives in Florida. So we drive over there, and unbeknownst to me, Kirk arranged with Tom Clark to call me during our lunch and informed me that I was being inducted in the Hall of Fame in the meritorious service category. And I'm very seldom speechless, as Adam probably would attest, but I was pretty much speechless when that happened. Just an incredible honor, very unexpected. And you never think you're going to go in the Hall of Fame for doing a job you love, but that's what's happened. So,
yeah. Well, talk about you started there in 1993. Yeah, you were, and back then bowling was on ABC. Yeah, Chris Schenkel and Nelson Bergen Jr. and it was more tour stops. You went from California all the way to Akron, and sometimes during the summer you went back to California to Nevada and all that stuff. What was it like doing a tour stop on TV with the guys, Bo Burton and Chris Schenkel?
It was unbelievable back then. I remember my first year in '93. I was the on-tour media manager. Just we go to a different city every week, and I'm just taking care of the local media, and then filing the game stories every day. And back then, I remember my first year, Chris and Adam. I was on the road 42 weeks out of 52 weeks that year. Now, about 10 of those were senior events that I had to work, but we had over 30 national tour stops back then. The winter tour, the winter tour was 16 straight weeks from the first week of January to the end of April, when you ended with the Tournament of Champions in Akron. And working with guys like Bo and Chris Schenkel, those are Hall of Fame broadcasters and bowlers in their own right. And the ABC production crew was top notch. We were with them to the end of '97. So I sort of broke in with that group. And then of course that ended and we went on to CBS and then ESPN and now Fox. But what a tremendous experience. Yeah. Just great.
Yeah. What was your favorite city to go to? Because you said you've been across country 16,000 times and all that. What was with your best city, and what city was like, oh, I don't feel like going there tomorrow?
I'll tell you what, the absolute best for me was oddly enough, Tucson, Arizona. And we would go back then we would go in the summer. So it's, it's 110 every day, but because we were there in the off season, we got to stay at Tucson National, which is where the golf tour stays. So this beautiful resort. We were staying there for like, $50 a night back then, $40 a night, swimming pools and golf courses. And of course you're working all day, but it was a great place to go. And when the work was done, you could go hang out by the pool, and, everyone brought people there, and it was kind of like a nice little, I was single back then. So it was kind of a nice little party. So, I love the food, and we had a great host in Pete Townis. So everything about Tucson, I love that stop. Erie, Pennsylvania was a great stop for us as a bowling sort of mecca, bowling town. I don't know that I want to say, list a city that I didn't care for. But let's just say there are a couple sort of out in the middle of nowhere places that you look around and you would say, oh, I might as well just stay at the bowling center this week. There's nothing much else going on outside of here. So, yeah.
You fly in and you're like, where is everything? You look at the map. It's 2 hours to go to McDonald's. I'm like,
yes. I will say this: there was a town that we flew into where it wasn't me, but when one of our staff stepped off the plane, she said she got an Uber, and she says, "What's that smell I smell?" I said, "Oh, that's just the slaughterhouses over there. Don't worry." There you go. Well, and anyone who's been to that particular town probably knows what I'm talking about. So.
Exactly. So what do you think about Baltimore? Because I met you one year when you were down in the Country Club Lanes and and all that stuff. But what about the city of Baltimore? I feel like now with bowling being too expensive for bowling centers, they have to shut down for a whole week, and they have to get all their Fox crew come in, and you see it in Delaware. It's like we'll be back next Monday. We'll cancel everything. And how tough is it for you guys knowing that you have to go to a bowling center when you were working and say we're taking over for a whole week, and all these people are like, okay, do I have a job today?
I'll tell you what, first of all, I can't say enough good things about all the, everyone I worked with but especially the host centers, because like you said, Chris and Adam, they're giving up their center for a week, and they're going to have to make up that revenue somehow. We come in and we kind of take everything over, and they're kind of a little bit at our beck and call, and they're tremendous. Anyone who hosts any sort of tournament, whether it's a PBA event, a PWBA event, regionals, local, city, state, you really should, if you bowl or if you're a spectator in those events, you should try and find the person in charge there and thank them, because it's a tremendous undertaking for the center. Baltimore was a great bowling city. The best story I have about Baltimore was when George Branham won there in, I think, 93 or 4. It was this, I don't know if you, Chris, or if you were there for the storm of the century, they called it.
Oh, the big blizzard? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Big blizzard. I went to we got done working Friday night. We had the show the next day on ABC. I went out at 10 o'clock at night. It had just started snowing. When I woke up the next morning, there was there was 2 feet of snow. There was an emergency. You weren't supposed to be on the roads. It was like against the law to be on the roads. We did our show anyway, and about 150, 200 people showed up in basically a blizzard, storm of the century, to watch George Branham win that title. And that actually is one of my top 5 or 10 most memorable events, because of the conditions outside and the people that showed up anyway. Was unbelievable. Baltimore's a great bowling city.
Yeah, we got the clip from from PBA.com of Tom Clark calling you. So let's play it real quick. I think people like to see this. Yeah. So hold on, let me pull this up. All right, so here it is. All right, play it.
So you're sitting there with Kirk.
Yes.
He's in the PBA Hall of Fame, and I got a bigger congratulations than Ohio State for you, because of everything that you did for the PBA and being the heart of our show, which is the heart of the PBA. You have been elected into the PBA Hall of Fame.
Tom, you got to be kidding me. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. I'm never speechless.
I'm sitting here with the whole production team, and they're all real happy about it too.
Well, they're and people like you and these 2 guys that are the reason I'm even considered for something like this. Oh my God!
We think it's the other way around, Dave.
Yeah, I can't even believe it. Wow.
Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's really cool.
So what was great about that was on Tom's end, he had the entire TV production crew on speaker, and even though I haven't been with the PBA since 2020, I would say 90% or 95% of that TV production crew, and Adam could probably tell you he's seen them, are people that I hired, 10, 15, some of them 20 years ago to work these shows.
Mm-hmm.
People might not understand, Chris, that it's not ESPN or Fox's crews that are doing bowling shows. Those are all from the producers. They're all independent contractors, and they all have chosen to work the PBA series. All of them could go and do other stuff. They're all very talented people, but they choose to, producers, directors, cameramen, they choose to work PBA events. And a lot of them were the guys and women that I hired, and I'm very proud of that crew. They're tremendous people.
Yeah, I went to Tournament of Champions years ago. It was a short story. I went out there with my buddy Matt, and we're like, it was one of those snowstorms. And I said to my buddy, like, we'll be out of here before it starts. So the game, the whole tournament was fun and done. I think Belmo won, and my buddy goes, "It's snowing." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we rented one of those like little Fiats or little cars. And I'm sorry, I know you're an Ohio guy, but can you please tell the Department of Transportation to plow better? because we were driving through 77 trying to get to the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and I thought I was going to die. Because it was terrible on 77. And once we got to Pittsburgh, the Pennsylvania Turnpike, I wanted to pull over and give one of those guys a big hug, saying, "Thanks, dude." It was fun. Yeah,
it can be a little rough around here, that's for sure. In the winter, I'm glad we're almost out of it. So I hate it. I don't like it. I don't know why I live here in the winter. So
exactly. So Adam for a very long time. Adam, do you remember the first time meeting him?
Yep, I do. It was I believe it was the 2015 TOC at Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. It was the very first tournament I ever went to. And Dave, you didn't know this until now, but I'm coming to the TLC in Akron, so I'm flying Wednesday night. I'm flying from Asheville to Charlotte to Hopkins International Airport in Cleveland, taking an Uber from Hopkins International Airport to Riviera Lanes, so I can be there that Wednesday night. I'll be there Wednesday night, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I can't wait to see you and give you a great big hug, and I will
absolutely
buy you a drink for your Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Yeah, I'm sure
it has been way too long since we've talked. And thanks for being good to me when I wanted to say hi to everyone. When I've traveled to see the PBA tour, it's like going home to family. So it's like it's Easter week, so I can't wait to get there, and I can't wait to get back to Akron. It's an incredible town.
Adam is absolutely, and I say this without equivocation, he's got to be one of our top 3 or 5 super fans of all time, and he's just, it's a joy to have him there. It's because, and Krista, this, I mean, it's people like Adam. It's without the fans, there are no sports, right? I mean, so I'm glad that Adam has nice things to say about me, because we have nothing but great things to say about Adam and all the fans like him. So
I
call him the mayor of Portland because when he goes up to when Bowling was up in Portland, he knew everybody up there. And I'm like, all right, here's the mayor.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's like I can still remember, Dave, when you remember this when the PBA tour would go to Red Burnham's Bradley Bowl in Windsor Locks.
Oh yeah,
Connecticut. It was the week before the TOC, and now it's not even there. And it's this time of the year, it's like, okay, it's almost time for the Greater Hartford Open at Bradley Bowl in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. Across the street is the Bradley International Airport, and you can hear the planes flying over, and it's like and then I got 34 days until I fly. Hotels booked, flights are booked, and I hope it's warm when I get there, Dave. It's called I don't want cold, I don't want snow. It's called we've had enough snow down here in North Carolina. Obviously, you probably know about what happened here last year with Hurricane Helene coming through, and it's like everything is slowly starting to rebuild.
Yeah,
but it's like when I see you guys in 34 days, I'll be like, I'm home.
That's awesome.
Home. And I can't wait to see if EJ Tackett does it again, or if Simo does it, or what happened last year with Marshall Kent. It's like going to Augusta or Yankee Stadium. It's like when you see that banner through these doors past the world's finest bowlers. When I saw it last year for the first time, I was like, I must be pinching myself. I saw this with Chris Heidel and Nelson Burton Jr. when I was growing up, and seeing lane 39 and 40 in person. I was like, if those lanes could talk.
Yeah, it's an iconic. It is I guess it's an iconic place for sure.
Yeah. Well, Dave, it's funny. The first time I went to Riviera Lanes, I was with my ex-girlfriend, and we were in town for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And she goes, "Oh, you want to go bowling?" And I found the bowling alley, and I got there, and this is Yankee Stadium to me, because Yankee Stadium is Yankee Stadium. And I walked in there, I'm looking around, going, "What happened here?"
Yeah, it's different.
Because I'm picturing in my mind like Mike Durbin was on the pair, getting ready to bowl, or Mike Albee, who's a friend of the show, on the left-hand lane, and I'm waiting for Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. walk by, and I'm like, And she goes, "Do you want to bowl?" And I said to myself at the time, "No, I don't want to do it," but I should have. But but going back there years later, I'm like, okay, I understand what this, why it changed, because people change over the years, but it's still an iconic place, and it's very small. Don't get me wrong, it's tiny. It's like I'm thinking like this is a big place, and I walked in there.
No, and it's obviously different. It looks different during tournament week, obviously, than if you just walked in any other day, and it looks different now than it used to, because they used to keep up all year long.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have a photo and stuff of each. They had like a kind of like a TSC Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Photos all over the bowling center. That's all come down now. So it looks. It used to, even during regular business hours. At one time, you could tell it was a special place. Now it's times change and everything, and it kind of only looks that way during tournament week. So
I mean, I see all the
go ahead.
I see all the banners hanging, from Wayne Webb to Steve Cook to Mike Albee. It's like, if you're a bowling fan, I don't care where you live, you got to get to Riviera Lanes to the TOC and just experience it once. And it's like, it's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see you guys. I want to see you. I want to go see George Brandon III. I want to go see everyone. And it's like, can it be Easter week already so I can go fly away and go and be like seeing family again? It's like,
that's cool.
I don't know. It's something. You know what I mean, Dave?
Yes, absolutely. I look for, I live in Akron, so and obviously I don't work for the PB anymore. I work for the USBC. But I look forward to the tournament now every year coming here. So I get to see everybody, and everyone gets to come here.
And you get to see me.
I can catch up with everybody that once a year I get to see everybody. So it's great.
Yeah, it's called I Will See You There that Wednesday night, and it's called if you're there that Wednesday night or Thursday, don't be afraid. Stop and say hi. We'll take pictures and
absolutely,
and we will talk about the good old times. I know you're ready to get inducted, and it's called. I can't wait to get there.
Yeah. Well, Dave, it's great to have you on, and I want to say thank you on the folks who are fans of bowling like myself, and they're like, thank you for keeping the lights on Saturdays, and even now, maybe one day I'm thinking to myself, I know Fox does a great job with the broadcast, but can they borrow some of the PBA on ABC for a little bit?
It's always that nostalgia back to ABC.
I'm still waiting for Fox when I watch it on Saturday, and Mike will be open. And I'm thinking, I'm waiting for the blue ball to go down the lane. I'm like, That's what
you remember the opens, absolutely.
Yeah, or the orange. My mom told me the story when I started watching bowling. She goes, "Yeah, bowling was my babysitter because I put you in front of that television, and you had this orange bowling ball going down the left-hand side, and for ABC, and you were mesmerized for a good hour and a half." My mom said, "I could go do something, and you're still going." Okay. Yeah. And we told that to Norm Duke. I told that to Norm Duke, and Norm Duke goes, "Tell your mom she still owes me babysitting money." I'm like,
absolutely.
Yeah, that is a true story.
I told my mother that. She goes, "How much do you need?" I'm like, "I don't know, Mom. It might be interest now, probably." Yeah. Well, Dave, thanks so much for coming on, and I hope to keep in touch with you. Hopefully, we can get more of the people you've been helping me to get on, and like Randy Pearson and all those people, and maybe we could get George Brennan III on, one day, because I'd love to talk to him, because he changed bowling to where bowling is today.
Yeah, and he was originally a Baltimore area guy, I believe. So
maybe
I think so. Yeah,
maybe Danny Wiseman might know him. I got to talk to him. Maybe Danny could track him down.
Yeah. Actually, Randy was good friends with Randy. Used to room with George back in the day.
Yeah.
Chris, Chris, anything I can help you with, just let me know, obviously.
Cool. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you having me on. It's been an honor. And Adam, I look forward to seeing you soon, guy.
See you soon, Dave.
We'll see you soon. Have a good one.
Thank
you so much. All right. That's Dave Schroeder, the used to work on television behind the scenes of the professional ball sport. So we're going to switch some gears here. We're going to get some college baseball, and Coppin State is flying right now as we speak to the Pacific Northwest, like Chris Schenkel used to say, with the Space Needle and Puget Sound and all that stuff.
Fish market, where you can go catch a fish.
Yeah. So Adam, welcome to this next guest. Go ahead.
Sure. It's called Well, folks, if you've ever gone to Seattle, you know about the Seattle Mariners. You remember the Seattle Supersonics. You've heard the Seattle Kraken. Well, there's a university out there in Seattle that they play in the Western Athletic Conference, and they're hosting our good friend, Coach Sherman Reed, and the Coppin State Wildcats this weekend at Bannerwood Park. So let's bring in the head coach of the Seattle University Red Hawks, Coach Donny Harrel. So, Coach, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and just talk about what does it mean for you and your program to be facing an HBCU school in Coppin State?
Well, number one, we're honored with the work of Baseball Beyond Borders and Bookie Gates and the Mariners relationship to start this. We're trying to do this, Adam, over the next 3 years. And Coppin State is, when I first got on the phone with Sherman, I mean, you just fell in love with the guy right away, just talking to him. He's got just a dynamic personality. And as you guys were saying, they were flying in. They're actually in there hitting BP right now on T-Mobile Field. So to see those kids and the coaching staff come in and the expressions on their face, because it was an early bird for them this morning. They got up at 3:30 in the morning to catch a 6 o'clock flight. And those guys said they're not tired after they looked around the stadium and started their BP session. So we're very fortunate to have them. We're looking forward to this series, and it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun for all those involved.
Yeah. So, Coppin State coming in, you guys, looking at your record, you just got done playing Washington State over the weekend. They used to be in the Pac-12. I don't even know if they have a Pac-12 anymore for baseball, but, but wasn't it like playing people in the state of Washington? Because people don't realize there is still good baseball in the state of Washington, no matter what. You got, Washington, University of Washington, you guys, and all the other little schools.
Yeah, Gonzaga's part of that too, and we went over and we're fortunate enough to beat them too as well, Chris, and they'll be back on our schedule on Monday. But yeah, the Northwest, Oregon State kind of opened the world to how good baseball can be in the Northwest with Pat Casey and that run that they've had down there. And, Wazakowski right now at University of Oregon, I think they're 7th in the country, and the Ducks, and the Beavers are 8th. So a lot of good Pacific, Northwest baseball, and us in Washington and Gonzaga and obviously Washington State. It's great where we live, just because we do have some bus trips to be able to get to some outside competition that's outside of our conference itself. So yeah, we're blessed where we live based on where it looks, the Northwest and the trees and the mountains, but then we also deal with a little bit of rain. So we've got a little bit of rain going on right now, but hope to get this series in and have a good time.
Yeah, I saw that on the Weather Channel this week, and Stephanie Abrams and everybody there, Jim Cantori, is like, rain in the Pacific Northwest, but that's what this time of year it is. People don't realize Seattle is a rainy city, and you do get your sun, and you do have a nice weekends, but sometimes you might have a rainy weekend, and hopefully this is not one of those, and you guys can play this nice series against Coppin State.
Yeah, and just for your viewers, Chris and Adam, we've already moved tomorrow to a doubleheader just to kind of protect ourselves against that, because we do have decent weather tomorrow. And then obviously the big day where we're celebrating, this relationship and what we're trying to do for baseball will be on Saturday. And so hopefully Mother Nature, and being a Jesuit Catholic school, we can ask for a few favors upstairs and see if we can get some good weather for Saturday too.
Yeah. Let's talk about your team. If anybody here in Baltimore are going to tune into ESPN Plus, if it's broadcast from the Mountain West Network, what do they? And you can probably get it on Hulu. Who do they want to put a circle around? Because there's some great. You guys have good players too.
Yeah, we've had a really good offensive run to start. We've had some injuries on the mound, and a lot of our best arms won't be back out there this weekend yet. We're hoping to get them healthy by conference, which is a week from this weekend. But offensively, we've had some really, strong showing with Sam Kane, who's got 5 home runs now. And Vicente Feliciano had 2 home runs in the last game on Tuesday. So we've got some guys throwing the ball around the yard a little bit. We've got a really unique player that I think the viewers will just really enjoy. He's a transfer from University of Tokyo. His name's Kenny Ishikawa, and he's a two-way guy for us. Yeah, and he's got 4 home runs and came in and threw 92 pitches out of relief against the Cougars to get that win over there. And he's 90 to 93 miles an hour on the mound, and then plays left field. And as I said, has a bunch of home runs, and he's our leadoff guy. So he's always a fun one to watch because he's got that grin, and he's got all the, Asian rim mannerisms to him too. He'll tip his cap to the umpire every time he comes up, and probably does more stretching than our whole team combined, just to get ready for the game. But he's a very unique, fun player. And on the mound, you'll see Blake Smith at some point this season, and he was our Friday night guy to start the season. He's coming back off rehab, so he'll be a lower round draft type guy. And then Ryan Morrison, who was up to 96 over at Washington State. He's caught some eyes of those pro guys, so you'll see him come out of that bullpen as well too. And Rafael Espinoza, who will start tomorrow, he's a pretty dynamic arm that's just starting to get used to Division I baseball, but he'll be 88 to 93 with a good slider. So viewers will see some good pitching and some good hitting. And we know we've got an offense on the other side that we've got to take care of, because Sherman's got some guys that can swing the bat from our scouting report. So hopefully we don't give up too many runs, and we score just a few more than they do. So looking for just some good games against Coppin.
Yeah, you guys bopped the baseball out. You have 19 home runs on the season, and in college baseball with the metal bat, it should, it's one of those, you might get more home runs because the metal bat pings off and goes flying better than the wooden bat. But these kids are still using metal, and I see like when they get to like say Aberdeen, the short season, and now it's A-ball, they have a hard time transitioning from a metal bat to wood, because wood is more different than metal.
You're totally correct. And the thing about pro baseball, just from being in it as well too, those guys in Aberdeen start to throw the baseball in. That's why those wooden bats get smashed. And there's not a lot of pitchers in college baseball that like to come in because of the aluminum bat factor. And you can throw a good pitch and a guy can hit it poorly and it still can get out of the park or in the gap. Right. So there is a difference definitely between the wood and the metal. And it was just echoed in here tonight when we were taking BP. I could tell why professional baseball, especially in a covered situation like it is tonight at T-Mobile, you wouldn't want to be on that grounds crew hearing that ping all the time. It'd just blow your eardrums out. So a little different part of the game.
Hey, if Ken Griffey Jr. had a metal bat, I think he'd probably refurbish the whole ballpark, how he swung the ball, and the power. But hey, that's why when they get to the pros, they get to the wood bats, and in metal you hear the ping and all that stuff. And and I know when it gets cold out, because I used to play baseball, when it's cold out, you don't want to have that metal bat because your hand hurts after the ping. You're like, ow.
That is very, very true. You remember that well then, yes.
Yeah, I still remember sometimes when people say, yeah, it's 35. I'm like, I'm used to playing outside of 35 degrees. It's okay. It happens. So, well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on tonight.
I do have one more question, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
It's called, so you play in the WAC, and normally the team to be in the WAC is Grand Canyon. And you guys got to go down to Phoenix for a 3-game series. So just talk about, college baseball in the WAC.
Okay. Yeah. GCU is, their facilities, their budgets and everything it's at a, which Chris would say the old Pac-12 level, which is, there is no more, Pac-12, but they definitely are in a different situation, and obviously are blessed in the area where they can recruit and keep kids at home and stuff. And they've done a great job down there. There's no question. And just to make it a little easier, Adam, we're going to go ahead and fly into University of Arizona and play them on Wednesday night too, before the GCU series. So I'm not sure the coach was very smart in scheduling that, which was myself, but it's great opportunities. And we were fortunate enough last time we were down in GCU to take 2 out of 3, in a series down there. So some of those guys that are still on this club have had that success, but no, always look forward to them. Sac State always has really good pitching. CBU, as you've seen, Cal Baptist gets guys drafted out of there every year pitching. So, as wacky as the WAC is as far as the territorial and flights and stuff, there's some really good baseball in it. And so we hope to have a good season in that conference this year.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And if folks want to tune in, it'll be on probably on ESPN Plus, because it'll be the game will be start tomorrow. It's 3 p.m. Pacific. It's 6 o'clock Eastern here in Baltimore, and throughout the weekend. And it'll be I think tomorrow night's game is probably on the WAC International, so it's probably going to be one of those ESPN Plus games. So thank you so much for coming on tonight, and good luck this weekend. And thanks for coming on.
Okay, guys, you too. Keep up the good work back there.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, that's the coach of University of Seattle. Yeah,
that's right.
Donny Harrel. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're going to switch gears. We're going to get back to some spring football. We had this gentleman on back in the weekend. We were down in the ACC championship weekend. He just, I remember, looking at Twitter that weekend and that week, and I'm seeing this guy like he's back, and I'm like, what? Who's back? So he's
back.
He's a good friend of our show. We talked to him. I met him the first time at when he was the head coach at the University of Delaware, and now they're heading off to Conference USA, and then he went to Sam Houston State, and and now he is back home in Philadelphia with the Temple Owls, and he's getting himself ready for his first spring with the Owls. So, Coach Keeler, thanks very much for coming on. And how is spring practice going for you, sir?
Hey guys, how we doing?
Doing good. Good.
Yeah, just got off the field. Second spring practice of the year. So the way it works is those first two, you're basically in underwear and a helmet. But it went well. The very first practice, I joked that I thought it was the longest practice in the history of mankind. I think it was 26 periods.
Oh, geez.
But with a lot of young coaches, they're eager to get the guys out there and practice. And I thought the kids did an amazing job. I mean, for being out there as long as we were, it was funny because we were starting with walkthrough, and it looked like we were tackling to the ground.
Oh,
so the kids have been really competitive, and they've been awesome since the first day I got here. They have been all bought in and really did a phenomenal job in that winter workouts, those mat drills, that phase of it. And now we're off to spring practice, but really like the group I have here.
Yeah, I got to ask you a question. You spent time in Delaware, Sam Houston State. Are you still running the same offense you had in Delaware, or is it a little more better, improved, or it's just still like 2.0 or 3.0 since your days at Delaware?
Yeah, I've gone through a number of offensive coordinators because what happens is they have success and then people pay them a lot of money,
right?
And then they move on.
Yeah.
But the theme is you always want to be able to run the football. Mm-hmm. And then, that run game is going to set up your passing game. And you want to tweak your offense. This is something I really firmly believe in. Unless you're at Ohio State or USC or Florida, you want to tweak your offense around the skill set of your quarterback. Mm-hmm. We had Andy Hall in 2003, won a national championship. He was a 5th-round pick by the Eagles. Really athletic. So your offense was geared a little bit more around his athleticism. And then 4 years later, you have Joe Flacco, mm-hmm. and great athlete, but more of a pocket passer. Yeah. And so then you tweak your offense around his skill set. I had Eric Schmidt in 2021 at Sam Houston, a guy that we were the only school that recruited him as a quarterback. Everyone was going to take him as an athlete/wide receiver. Yeah. And he ended up leading us to win a national championship. And boy, we took advantage of that 4.4 speed he had. Right. So it's one of those things, whoever ends up being our quarterback, we will definitely tweak it to their skill set.
Yeah, I remember the first time meeting Joe Flacco when you were at Delaware, and when he was getting drafted by the Ravens, I said to somebody at my other job, I'm like, oh, the Ravens should pick him up at 10. And they go, why? Because he's a good packet quarterback. He can roll out, and he also could, I know he runs like me when I'm trying to run down the street catching my girlfriend, because, she's in a wheelchair, like slow as crap. But, he does a great job, and you see him now. Casey, he's still in the NFL and he's still needed. Like he was with the Colts this year, and my dad's like, he's still playing. I was like, yeah, because he loves it, and if you need a quarterback, he's that guy.
Joe and I will text, but the last time I saw him in person was at a Texans game. He was with the Denver Broncos. He was actually injured. My wife and I went down the game. My wife has a really great relationship with Joe. They're talking about our grandchildren, his children. They're going back and forth, and she said honestly, she said, how long are you going to do this? He goes, I love practice. Nice. I love game day. I love the whole locker room and being part of a team. He goes, I'm going to do this as long as I can. And he didn't need the money at that point. He doesn't need the money now. But here's a guy who just loves that camaraderie. And, he's a fitness guy, has his own personal trainer, and he's in phenomenal shape. And so he's been able to prolong that career. And he has a skill set that he still can sling it. And what a great run he had when he was with the Cleveland Browns. And I was all of a sudden I was All of a sudden, I was on sports radio talk in Cleveland every week, telling stories about Joe Flacco. So anyway,
wow, that's cool. Yeah, so talk about practice. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. You just started on March 11th, and then you have a break, and then you have Saturday morning at 9:30. So this Saturday is your first Saturday morning.
Yep.
So you're going to see probably hopefully some players ready to go, because I know this weekend is St. Patty's weekend, and everybody wants to party. But you're going to keep it. You're going to crack that whip and tell them we got to keep going here.
Well, it's interesting. I just had what we call this time of year as an advisory board. Some people call it a leadership council.
Yeah.
And in the advisory board, I said, okay, tell me, how did you guys think, winter workouts went? That's like the first phase. Like winter workouts is the first phase. Then the second phase is spring football. Then you have summer, workouts. Then you have summer training camp, and then you have the season. Mm-hmm. And I said, how do you think the first phase? They go, Coach, the interesting thing was we didn't have guys waiting at the door at 2 minutes of 6, hoping guys were going to show up on time. Everyone got there 15 minutes early. Everyone was locked in. No one was complaining. And I think it's a fact that when you go 3-9, 3-9, 3-9, and you feel you can do better, there's a commitment there. And
right.
So, I'm honest. There's some talent here. This is a more talented team than I think people realize. And do we have some holes? Absolutely. Everyone has holes. And that's what, spring recruiting is going to do for us. And one of the things that we did, Chris, is we didn't spend a lot of money when we first got in on on scholarships on new players. We were like, let's meet the guys in the locker room. Because my philosophy is recruit your locker room first.
Right.
Because the teams that have the most success are those older locker rooms. And so I spent 4.5 days interviewing every single player.
Wow.
And it wore me out, but it was really awesome. And I found out a couple of things. One thing is they love going to the school at Temple. They love it. And the other thing is that 3-9 wore them out. Mm-hmm. So, and they want better. And I was trying to find something I could do to show that, things were going to be different. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that popped up was that, nutrition, about they would like to be fed better. Yeah. And so I'm like, listen, you're not using your meal swipes. Why don't we give you that $500 back in your pocket every month, and we'll find ways to give you better nutrition here in the facility. And you talk about it's how you make people feel. They felt heard. We told Coach, this is one of the things that we feel the program needs to improve on. Right. And boy, he delivered immediately. So right away, it let them know my style. My style is that, I can't answer all prayers, but, if I can, I do. And that was one I was able to answer. So, again, I think I've developed some trust with the guys right away, and it's going well. 2 of our guys who transferred out just transferred back.
Oh, wow.
So we have a unique situation where we have a semester's broken in half. So you have 7B, 7A, and 7B. So 7B are classes you take the second half. So we were able to get some guys that left and decided to come back in 7B. 2 really good players who are great people that had heard from the team that things are going well. They really like it, and they're excited about what's going on. And so, they came back. One of the guys went to Oklahoma State. Oh, wow. So got recruited there, got a bunch of money to go there, and just grass wasn't greener. And that's what you find in this transfer portal. It's a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Some guys are making it work, and some guys are like, boy, I wish I would have stayed where I was at.
Yeah. Well, I was reading something before, Adam asked a question. You said it's not a rebuild, and that's great, because I hate hearing that word rebuild, because you have the core players. And here's one question I have to ask you. When Al Golden was there, everything was doing really well. And then he goes off to Miami and had issues down in Miami, and then he does well with Notre Dame as a defensive coordinator. Do you have any kind of chance to look at the previous and trying to find out what went wrong and try to fix that problem?
Yeah. I talked to Matt Rule. I talked to Al Golden. Yeah. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. And it's really simple. They recruited from Connecticut down to Virginia, out to Ohio. Okay. In 2015, Temple beat Penn State.
Right.
And they're number 21 in the country playing Notre Dame at the Lincoln in front of 70,000. And they lose a close one in Notre Dame. So what has changed? What changed is we're not recruiting the footprint anymore. Okay. And if you look at that team, 90% of that team was New Jersey, New York, Virginia, Maryland, Connecticut, Washington, D.C. So that's what we're doing. So when I got here, there was a mandate.
Okay.
Not that we're not going to go into Florida, not that we're not going to go into Georgia. We will, but we're going to spot recruit those areas. We're going to really dominate the footprint. And we've already had a lot of kids on campus this early in the spring.
That's cool. That's awesome. Adam, you have a question for Coach?
I do. So I've been looking at your schedule, and your cherry and white spring game it's not being played at the link. It is taking place at Chuda Field. So just talk about where you're playing your annual cherry and white spring game.
Yeah, so that's our facility. So one of the great things about Temple, we have our own gorgeous facility, phenomenal weight room, all sorts of meeting space, our own dining facility. I mean, it's gorgeous. And we have a field and a half outside. So that's where we'll have it. And then we have a parking lot right about a block above. Everyone's got a tailgate there. So we have a golf outing the night before for all the alums, and we're going to pack that thing, and then, or the day before, and then that next day we have the spring game. And most people aren't doing spring games anymore, like the traditional spring games, and we won't either. It's going to be more of a, hey, let's work on kickoff return. It's live to the whistle, tag off the ball carrier, and then, hey, let's spot the ball in the 25. Let's do a couple, and we'll do some live reps, but it's not going to be real long. I think a lot of people are getting away from that for a couple of reasons. One of the big reasons is just keeping guys healthy.
Right.
Yeah. The other reason is you don't want to show off too much what you have because people are trying to steal your players. So we'll show a little bit, but not too much. But, if you saw what Matt Rule just did, Matt Rule got rid of the spring game because he doesn't want his players being evaluated by the portal recruiters at each school. We have a portal recruiter. Like when Bowling Green just lost his coach, we had that whole roster evaluated before the end of the night was over. So so that's the way it works now. The amount of people you have behind the scenes. We just had practice. We had about 15 recruits here, which for a Thursday is pretty impressive. And so I had guys on the field I met. I had guys in my office I met. It's just you have a whole recruiting department now. You have a general manager. Who ever thought college football was going to have a general manager? I started 3 years ago. And you know what? He deals with the NIL agents because you can have NIL agents now. Yeah. So you need someone to deal with those people. So, the game has changed. And I think, we've done a good job hiring a staff, not only offense and defense and special teams, but also the very critical behind the scenes. Your general manager, your chief of staff, your recruiting coordinator. One of our guys is player relations. Tomorrow, we're located on 10th and Diamond, and there's great pride. Very cool story. We had some NFL guys back last year, and they're telling me a story that the kids were talking about, hey, we need NLI, and they're like, wait a minute, we never got NLI when we were here. And you know what? We actually cleaned this entire area. That entire block of 10th and Diamond, we would go out with trash bags every week and clean that because this was our home. It was pretty powerful. And then I was on Zoom with 130 alums when I first took the job over, and they felt the same way. Like, that's home. 10th and Diamond is home. We're unique. And like they told the stories about back when Matt Rule or Al Golden was here. And so tomorrow morning is our first time. I think it's the offensive line, defensive line, and quarterbacks. 7:15, the head coach will be out and letting this neighborhood know, this is our neighborhood too. And we're going to make sure we're going to be good neighbors, and we're going to be out, cleaning up the neighborhood and doing the right thing. So it's like I'm listening to all the stuff in the past, and I know there's a lot of really good stuff there. Yeah. And so I'm stealing the stuff that worked and kind of getting it back into the future.
It sounds like you're doing a great job there, and hopefully we'll get Temple back to being what Temple was.
Yep.
And you guys, maybe compete for the AAC championship against maybe Army, because I think Army's the team to beat now because of the way they played last year. But it's just spring ball, and by the time August comes around, you'll have your starters and everybody's all ready to go. And I know you got that first game against UMass, where a former coach you folks faced in Maine going to be the head coach there. So that's going to be a real cool thing, like a home field for you.
Yeah. No, terrific coach. And then we come home here against Howard. And then we have
Oklahoma coming to
Oklahoma.
Yes.
And I'm just honest. I don't think that game makes any sense for the future. What I'm trying to encourage our people to do is let's play Delaware.
Yes.
Let's play James Madison.
Yes.
Let's play Old Dominion.
Yes.
And Pitt and Rutgers and Syracuse and Maryland. I mean, let's keep this regional. Now, next year we play Penn State.
Okay.
And at the Link. Penn State wants to come down and leave because, they have so many fans that can't get in up at,
Happy Valley,
that this is a great opportunity for them to get into Philadelphia. So I want to find those regional games. Like I said, those G5s, like the Massachusetts and the Connecticut's and the Delawares and the Old Dominions and James Madison, but also those group of those Power Fours, like play Maryland, get Pitt. Get Syracuse, get Rutgers. It makes a lot of sense. They'll travel well. Yeah. We'll get a great crowd and be very competitive.
Yeah. I mean, Chris and I have, Coach Chris and I have actually talked about perhaps going up to Philly to see you guys play Oklahoma because, I mean.
Yeah, come on up. You got tickets, brother. You got tickets. Adam, you got tickets, okay?
Fine. Chris,
hey, I went to go see Chris because I really enjoy your style of coaching. And when I met you back in 2003, I was a little intimidated by you because I was just started doing this. I'm like, this guy's like, I was like, because you were on the sidelines like this, like with fist in the air. I'm like, okay, I got to be nice to this guy. But you're such a great guy, and and you still go back to Delaware and on the beaches and it's always cool.
My wife's there right now. She's in Rehoboth. We have a house there that's where she's living. I'm living in Center City until we get something built over in Wilmington. I got 3 grandchildren that are over in Wilmington, Delaware. I can't tell you how excited my wife was to get back to the Northeast and be with them. So yeah, we're happy to be here. That's for sure.
That's cool. Well, I would love to talk to you. And if Richard's watching, sorry I didn't talk to him ahead of time, but I apologize for that. But you and I had your phone number somehow.
Yeah, no worries. No, absolutely. You always can reach out to me. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I hope to get you on after the spring game so we could evaluate what you saw, with your, all that stuff, and we can get ready for the big game against UMass and Howard. They have that coach Scott, who used to be a Miami tight end coach, who I met down there in Duke when they had that kickoff return for the touchdown.
Yeah, no, he'll do a good job there. Very impressive man. Yep,
he's a good guy. Well, good luck with the cleaning tomorrow.
I think great seeing you again. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Good luck with the cleaning tomorrow, and I'll be thinking of you when I'm sleeping in the morning, knowing that you're out there.
I'll have a donut in my mouth, and I'll have gloves on, picking up. So I promise the fellas.
Don't forget your Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I'm buying Dunkin' Donuts. So
yes, nice.
Awesome. I'll try to get there on April 12th for the spring stuff if I can.
Love to have you.
All right, cool. Thanks for being such a good friend of the show.
All right, see you, fellas.
All right, see you. All right, bye. All right, that's Chris.
I think we have to go up. Chris, I think we have to go cover Oklahoma Temple now.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to cover Temple because Coach Keeler.
I
loved him when he was at Delaware. He was such a great guy.
I would love to have Towson at Temple.
Yeah, well, I was going to tell Coach Keeler that I'm going to try to get down to the Maryland Spring Football Media Cup, and I'm going to ask Coach Loxley that you might have to have a special little bet going with Coach Shimrick. Because Coach Schroeder is technically right now the best team in Maryland right now.
It's Towson.
Yeah. Besides, Coach Wilson, underneath our good friend Coach Wilson's underneath him, but Towson is the right now in the clubhouse. So if Coach Schroeder is watching, you're the man.
You're the man. It's and Chris Towson does play at Maryland this year.
And it's the same weekend as the Oklahoma game. It's the same weekend as the Oklahoma game. So you and I got to decide which one you want to do.
I know it's called. I mean, you heard what Coach Keeler said. I have tickets. It's called.
I'll talk to Richard and see if we can get a couple passes. Maybe we can go.
Well, I'll go to Philly. Yeah, I'll go to the Link for
cheesesteaks. Speaking of cheesesteaks, I want to say a shout out real quick before we get Sheldon Nist on. My good friend Jared Welsh, who is from Philadelphia, who is an Eagles fan, he had a great call last night on his broadcast of the York, Pennsylvania lacrosse, University of York, Pennsylvania. So here is the call to he had. They came back from like 6 goals down, the lacrosse team. So here's a classic moment from him.
Pass thrown into the middle. 11 seconds left to go. Battle for possession. York ball. 6 seconds left to go. Here comes Fisher. 3 seconds inside. Fresno scores! He scores with 1.4 left to go. York wins it in overtime. 11-10 Spartan victory here at Kinsley Field. What a ball game that was, folks. Oh my goodness gracious. What a ball game. And the celebration goes out on the field.
All right. Good job, Jared Welsh, with the call for. We'll get him hopefully on the show one day. We'll talk to him. He does a very good job. I basically helped him out, and him and I have been working well together. He's been doing his own thing, and I guess I have like a broadcast tree, like Bill Walsh. So everybody who I help them out, they go on to different pastures. So speaking of different pastures, we got the NCAA tournament starting up soon, and what's good, when we bring that theme song in.
That's the official bracket. I have
so we're gonna hear this all next week. Yeah, I love this. I love the song. So let's bring in Shelby Mast, who's the bracketology here. So Shelby, I gotta love that. It's March Madness time. That's gonna be the theme song in the next 2 weeks. So
I can listen to that all month long.
Exactly.
Amen, Shelby. Amen, brother.
Amen. Well, thanks for coming on tonight. I was looking at your brackets today. Just talk about these teams. You have the number one seeds. It's like you have Duke, who's going to be in Newark. Florida's going to probably be in Indianapolis. Auburn's going to be down in Hotlanta, and then you got out west with Houston. So Duke just lost their top player today to an ankle, and that might change something if they don't win the ACC tournament, right?
I don't think it'll change them being a 1 seed, but may change where they play. And from all accounts, from what I'm hearing, he's probably going to be okay. He may miss tomorrow's game, but he's good to go for March.
Okay, that's good. Because they need him, because he's been that driving force at bringing Duke back where – before Coach, it seems like Coach K is still coaching, but it's Coach Schneider is going to be the man. But I think he's finally found that guy that could be his player.
Yeah, and he's leaving for the NBA next year, probably.
Yeah, I think everybody else is leaving.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the last 4 in. You got Baylor, Indiana, Xavier, and Colorado State. And then on the last 4 out, you have North Carolina, California, Irvine, Texas, Boise State, and North Carolina. But they're going to play Duke tomorrow night in the semifinals down in Charlotte. So if they beat Duke, they're going to probably be way in instead of being in the last 4 out.
They'll move up. I don't know yet if they'll be way in because they haven't beaten anybody all year. And you get 1 win, that's helpful, but I don't think it's enough to move them way in. I think Texas is the one that moves in, depending on what Colorado State does. Texas beat A&M today in double overtime. And that was a heck of a game. A&M and Vanderbilt back-to-back. That's impressive. More impressive than Notre Dame and Wake Forest.
Yeah. Well, speaking about Wake Forest, they're supposed to be the next 4 out against Ohio State, Nebraska, and San Francisco. So Ohio State, seems like they've been up and down. We had Chris Knoche on, from the Maryland Sports Radio Network, and they played Maryland pretty tough. The last time I think Maryland played them, in Columbus. But it's really hard, this time of year to try to find who's going to be fitting perfectly and all that stuff. But how do you look at the these brackets? I know you get up in the morning, you update it all the time and make sure everything's up to date. But what's the process that you go through to get these things ready to go? The first thing, like tomorrow morning, I'm going to log in and go, oh, that's what he's saying.
I look at wins and losses. Who'd you beat? Where'd you beat them? That's it basically. In Ohio State, they got 15 losses and 17 wins. They're a nice team, but I don't think they have done enough to be in the bracket. And now they've lost; they can't help themselves anymore, so they have to sit and wait.
Yeah, that's true. You got to sit and wait and see what's going on. And then you got moving in. You got Colorado State and Montana, and then probably on life support Bradley. I guess they're on life support, probably dead by now.
Probably,
yeah, probably dead. But you got all these programs like Florida State, with Coach Hamilton retiring. it's sad that we don't. They may not even be in the tournament, because I think it would be nice to see Coach Hamilton have maybe 1 or 2 more games of his coaching career before going off in the sunset as one of the storied coaches at Florida State University. But what can what do you think about these programs that are going to have new coaches next year?
Oh, there's going to be a lot of them. Some of these coaches, as your previous guest talked about the NIL, that's why a lot of these coaches are retiring now, because this is a whole new thing. It's not what they're used to, and they don't like it.
Yeah, that's true.
Way out of control.
Yeah, I think, and then now you got to have a general manager. That's what Coach Keeler has, and you got to be somebody being strictly with your agent, and stuff.
Right.
And
I think football is a little different because there's so many players.
Yeah.
Basketball, you got 12 to 15 players, so you may not necessarily have to have a GM, but it probably would be helpful. But with football, man, it's a totally different beast.
Yeah. Exactly. Adam, you have a question for him?
I do. So, Shelby, the SEC has been really dominant this year. You look at Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida. So many teams from the SEC could get number 1 seeds when the bracket is released on Sunday night. So, how many teams, in your opinion, from the SEC will make the NCAA tournament?
Will be in. Right now, I've got 13 in.
Wow.
And Texas is knocking on the door. There could be 14 teams in out of a 16-team conference.
Wow.
That's unheard of. They've been this dominant. It's crazy. I've never seen a year like this before. And you got the Big 12 coming in with 9, or the Big 10 at 9, and the Big 12 with 8. So, man, those 3 conferences are going to rule the tournament.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm assuming you have Oklahoma in. You have LSU in.
No.
Okay. Is Ole Miss in?
Yes.
Okay. It's called. It's like.
It's easier to name who's out than who's in.
Well, it's called. You look at how dominant the SEC has been this year, and it's like, the last few weeks you've seen some classic games: Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama. You mentioned the Big 12, what Houston has done. You look at what Arizona, Kansas is not the Kansas we're all used to seeing. So for me, I'm looking forward, to see, where everybody, is placed in. Is there a sleeper team that no one is talking about that could get in to the bracket when it's released on Sunday?
Well, a sleeper team to make a good run is probably BYU.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, they weren't in the bracket, and they beat Iowa State twice. They won Arizona. They beat Kansas by 35. And so they have really turned it on and really moved up. They're on my 6th line now, and they could move up to a 5 seed. But I'm really interested in watching them. As far as a team that's getting in that people aren't really talking about, probably my last team in, Colorado State. They had a pretty decent year, was 7-7 in quad 1 and 2, and they finished second in the Mountain West, which is not easy.
No.
Right. Wow. That's great. So let's talk about the mid-majors. We just had, North Carolina and Wilmington winning the CAA. Towson was the number 1 seed, and they lost. And you had all these other, High Point winning and all that stuff. And American just won last night, beating Navy, who was an under 500 team anyway. So is there any mid-majors that might give these big boys, the old Blue Bloods, a run for their money in the tournament?
I kind of think High Point might be a problem for somebody. And the team out west, UC San Diego, they are a fun team to watch. They're packed with talent, and they're under the radar. Nobody really knows anything about them, so I'm keeping an eye on them.
I believe it's their first year as eligible for the tournament, and it's like, watching them, it's like you know. I mean, they're in the Big West Conference, and you look at the Big West Conference. Normally, you think of teams like maybe UC Santa Barbara, Hawaii has done really well over the last few years. Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State, but the thing what UC San Diego has done this year, it's like they may have a shot to whichever region they're placed in. I can't wait to see who they play because they could give, like you said, Shelby, they could give a team a run for their money. Solid team all around, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won the Big West tournament out in Henderson, Nevada, on Saturday night.
Well, if they don't win the tournament, I think there's a chance they still get in. They're that good.
I do too.
Yeah. I hope it's going to be a great tournament. I hope it's like we get these buzzer beaters, and I know it's TBS and CBS doing all the broadcasts, but I remember back in the old days it was just CBS doing it, and we were up until it starts at noon, and we're up until 2 a.m. With all these late games. But I hope you have a great weekend doing this, and hopefully we can catch up after the bracket and see how your bracket is similar to the folks on CBS.
All right. Thank you.
Right, cool. Thank you, sir. Have a great evening.
You too.
All right,
thanks, Shelby.
All right, that's Shelby Mast, who's the bracketologist for us here. We bring him on every year here.
Yes, we do. I always look forward to talking to Shelby.
Yeah, and I always find a guy like him to talk about brackets, and all that stuff. So it's 8:48 here on the program. We're going coast to coast here this evening. We went from Seattle to San Diego to Akron to Philadelphia to he was down in Texas where we Austin, Texas, around there. But now we're going back to Baltimore, or we're going up to the Western Maryland to Frostburg, and let's bring in. I think we got a pinch hitter, or it could be Coach Williams because he just sent me a message saying he's under the weather. But we'll see who this is. So, is it Coach Williams?
Yeah, you got me. I'm gonna tough it out for you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. I know you're sick, and we'll keep this short and sweet because I hate it when I'm sick to talking to people. Yeah,
that's all right. I'm just killing time here tonight in the hotel. We play tomorrow, so.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm feeling better, so I appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem. Talk about this trip this week. Yeah, you're taking on Concord. Let me bring up your schedule here. Just talk about this game this weekend against Concord.
Yeah, it's the opening weekend for conference play. So the Mountain East Conference kicks off tomorrow for us, and on the road. So trying to get some road wins and get started off on the right foot in league play, and coming off the heels of a great weekend series win up at East Stroud last week, and got some momentum with the program, and so we're just trying to take it one day at a time and all that kind of good stuff, and get ready to play tomorrow. So it's been 4 straight weeks on the road. So after this weekend we'll be back home, and we'll be looking forward to that.
Cool. So where is Athens, West Virginia? Because I've been to Morgantown, I've been to Charleston. Where is Athens, West Virginia?
It's way down towards the bottom, man. So almost into Kentucky. So
Jeez.
we're in Beckley, West Virginia is where our hotel is, but we play at Concord's a little bit further south. Way down. Think if you ever heard of Princeton, West Virginia, it's towards the bottom of the state. So maybe like an hour and a half past Charleston, or hour past Charleston south.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, then we got to make the fun trip back up to Glenville, which is a little bit closer to Morgantown for Friday night, and then for Saturday's games is at Glenville, and then we head back home Saturday night. So
okay, so you're doing the tour of West Virginia this weekend. That's good.
That's
awesome.
the Mountain East, man. Is a tour of West Virginia. So we're out here in beautiful Western Maryland, but we get to see quite a bit of the state of West Virginia through the course of the season.
That's cool. I do have a clip from your game this week. I think this was last week. It's the audio, so let me play it real quick for you. And this is your last week's game. So here it is.
So we'll see. Here it comes. Swing and a miss, and that ends the ball game. Frostburg State takes the series 2-1. Delivers ESU its second loss of the year.
Out of the series win against East Stroudsburg. That was Bryce Hendricks closing it out for us. I think it was a 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, jeez.
So he's did a nice job for us. It was a great was a great series win for us against a really good team who was previously undefeated and ranked in the top 10 in the nation. So good for us. But yeah, that was last week and moving forward now.
Yeah. Adam, you have any questions for him?
So, since you're going around West Virginia, you should play country. You should play John Denver song, Country Roads.
Every ballpark we lose in, Adam, they got that playing on the loud. We try not to hear that song too often.
Okay, so what does it mean for you, as a coach, to knock off a previously, undefeated team in East Strasburg, last weekend?
Well, if I allow myself to kind of reflect a little bit, which I try to not do, it was good for the program. It was where our season ended last year in the NCAA tournament at East Stroudsburg. So it was kind of a nice way for us to kind of leave our mark on where we're trying to go as a team and as a program right now. So I was really happy about that. But I think we try to put this team together with the idea of trying to compete nationally. And, you have those ideas in the off season or during recruiting, but then you get into the season and you got to make it reality. So I think it was good, especially for our young guys. We have some young guys contributing right now. And I think it was good for a lot of the new guys that hadn't been there before to kind of get a sense of what, baseball at this level is all about. Division II baseball is in a good place right now. It's going to continue to get better with some of the, NCAA rules that, limited rosters and things like that. But, we're trying to build a program that can compete and hopefully get to a College World Series.
That's true. Yeah. That's the big goal for everybody this time of year. Just get your non-conference schedule, get ready to conference play, and hopefully we'll get, you guys get, when it comes to May and June, you could be in the College World Series.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you want to be playing your best baseball at the end of the season. So everything else is a stepping stone towards that.
Yeah. And you have another question?
Yeah. So, now you guys are going, starting your conference play. Is there a team that has looked really good, to you, when it comes to your conference?
Well, I mean, I think you got to look at Concord right now, who we play tomorrow. So we're treating them like, best team we're going to see. So just because that's the next team. However, I mean, they just did come off the heels of winning a series against nationally ranked Millersville last weekend. So they've got some momentum as well. Two good ball teams. So I'm excited to get an opportunity to play them. And, down the road, we'll see. The season will present who's playing well. And, in my eyes, Charleston's won the league 3 years in a row. So we were fortunate enough to get the at-large bid a year ago to get to the NCAA tournament. But until somebody knocks them off, they're still the champs. And that's what we're looking to try to do this year.
Yeah, nice. True. So just talk about, Frostburg, it's been a tough winter for all of us here because, I've been watching the weather and, you guys had some blizzards out there, but I guess spring is coming around the corner because it's supposed to be nice this weekend, and hopefully next week will be in the 70s for you guys to have some nice warm weather.
Yeah, spring comes to Frostburg in phases. We get a couple different spring seasons, so we hit the first one now. So we might be back to winter in a couple weeks. You just don't know.
Okay.
We'll take it when we get it, but it has been more difficult than normal. I would agree with you on that. I think everywhere it's been just one of those tough winters, and given the fact that college baseball starts in the winter, and we played 11 games now in the month of winter, or in the winter season, I guess. This just makes it tough in the Northeast to try to play baseball this time of year, and but it is what it is. We just got to fight through it. So definitely was cold up at East Stroudsburg. That's the Pocono Mountains. I can tell you it's not any warmer up there.
Right.
Oh, I believe it.
Exactly. Well, Coach, I want to let you go because you're sick, but thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for being a gamer, and I hope you feel better. And hopefully, this weekend you have a great, you feel better with some great wins.
Yeah.
And I hope to talk to you a little more throughout the baseball season.
Yeah, Chris, I think that's the remedy. So we'll see if we can get some wins tomorrow. Appreciate you guys.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
All
right.
All right. That's the coach of Frostburg State University, Coach Anthony Williams, who was under the weather, but he did a great job for us tonight. We do appreciate it.
He did.
Yeah. So anyway, anyway, so we're gonna we're waiting for Coach Tyner. Towson won yesterday. They kind of had, I guess Vince Coleman might be their storm base coach because they ran all over George Washington. They won by a score of 16-2 at Towson yesterday. They basically broke a record, or they tied a record. Towson earned 8 stolen bases in a single game. And it's the first time they had 8 stolen bases in a game since 1992.
Wonder if Ricky Henderson was. I wonder if
or Rock Harrel,
or Ricky Henderson was like. I wonder. I mean, we all know how good Ricky Henderson was on the. When it comes to stolen bases, Chris.
Exactly. This weekend on the professional, we will have our friend. Justin Knowles joining us at 9:15. He's out in Reno because this weekend is the World Series of Bowling. First up is the Mike Albee Classic. We'll try to get Mike on Monday when we'll be back on. We're going to be on St. Patty's Day, so everything's going to be green.
Correct. That means I have to wear my green, otherwise, I can't get pinched, But I mean, I will say that I remember going to the World Series of Bowling in 2015, 2016, and that was at the end of the year. It was on Christmas, and this week one of the patterns was the Viper Championship.
Yeah.
And Chris, do you know the last time that they had the Viper Championship?
You were out there?
Yep, 2015.
Oh wow!
It was taped. It was taped for they did it at the Kingpin Club at the National Bowling Stadium. I was there. It was Gary Faulkner Jr., Ryan Simonelli, Jacob Butruff, and Kim Ballaby. And I mean, that's where all the Animal Pattern Championships were taped for ESPN, and I think they did all the shows in one day, because when I was there, I was like, obviously I stayed at the Silver Legacy Hotel and Casino, which is like within walking distance. And for you folks out there who want to go to Reno, head to the Silver Legacy Hotel and Casino because it's a really great place. I enjoyed my stay there. You can walk over the National Bowling Stadium. You have the Circus across the street. The El Dorado is right there. So it was a really cool place to stay. And they gave you what's cool was if you stayed there during the World Series of Bowling, you got a discount on your room thanks to the PBA Tour. So stayed there. I was there for a week, and it was incredible. And Cooper Flag, he was.
Let's play this. This is what we were talking about earlier to Shelby. So here's the play. So I guess Georgia Tech was playing Duke this afternoon. So he was the Player of the Year runner-up. Oh, that's a broken ankle, dude.
He was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that is not kosher.
That's
terrible looking.
It's like seeing. It's called. I was at work and I saw the replays, and I was like,
look at his parents.
I was like,
wow.
It's like, hope he's okay. I mean, he was the ACC Player of the Year, the Freshman of the Year. So it's
But he landed down real hard on that. I'm sorry. I'm not a doctor, but that was ugly.
Ow. That's. I mean, you can tell he's in pain. You can tell. Yeah. It's like, and he was there supporting his teammates in a wheelchair. So,
well, if you're the coach, if you're the Duke coach, and you're playing your rival tomorrow for the third straight time, less than 2 weeks, a week after they played each other in Chapel Hill. Do you really want to risk him? Can he be like a Willis Reed coming off the bench?
Prez.
Yeah.
Duke is.
I think for me, it's like Duke's already in the tournament. So
I know.
why
But
hurt
it's
the
like,
guy?
And right now the Tar Heels aren't in, so it's like, how bad being a Tar Heel fan, I want to see them fine. You know what they say, Chris? Third time's a charm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that the Heels can knock off Duke tomorrow night, even with or without Cooper Flag, because we need this win to get into the tournament, because it'd be kind of weird not to have the Heels in the tournament after last year, winning the ACC, winning the ACC regular season, and they were there, and now it's like, I'm on pins and needles, but we'll see what happens on Sunday night when 6 o'clock on CBS when the bracket gets revealed, and it will. And Chris, you'll agree with me. It will not do the same without Greg Gumbel sitting there with Seth Davis.
Probably have Ernie Johnson doing it. Ernie Johnson will be the replacement for him.
Yeah, and it's like, Greg Gumbel did it forever and ever and ever. But Ernie Johnson will do an incredible job.
Yeah. Speaking of Monday, we'll be on Monday night. I think we're probably going to do it around 6:30, 7 o'clock, because it is St. Patty's Day, and we don't know if anybody's going to be listening to us, but we'll still do it anyway. Monday night at 7:05, we will have a guy from Robert Morris University. Let me bring him on. Robert Morris. They just won the Horizon tournament. So there's a guy named Ryan Prather Jr., who is from Clarksburg, Maryland. He'll be joining us because we're going to try to get some players from the state of Maryland who, besides the Maryland University of Maryland, and we're going to try to see if we can grab some people who go to different colleges from the state of Maryland, and we'll see if we could try to get some of the players from the ladies and the men to come on. Like we did a couple of years ago. We had Notre Dame on. We had people who were from Duke women's basketball has 4 people from the state of Maryland on their roster. So, and our friend Jen Lewis was at Greensboro over the weekend, so I was trying to get her to get me some clips, but I don't know if she got any for me.
Because I will say that. I will say that next Tuesday I will be on with Jen and all those ladies, breaking down the NCAA women's basketball tournament, getting everyone ready for for women's March Madness. So I can't wait to, join all of them and breaking down some college basketball. But it's time we talk some more college baseball, Chris.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll talk some more college baseball. We're waiting for Coach Tyner to join us. But we do want to say the reason our other broadcast partner is not with us today, Matt Cioccanelli, his mom had surgery yesterday for a rotator cuff. So we want prayers for Matt's mom.
Yes.
So hopefully she will be fine. I kidded around with her yesterday, and I was like, stop pitching 9 innings every day. Use the bullpen.
Thank you. That's what it's there for.
So prayers go out to his mom, and that's why he is not on this evening, because I gave him the option of, like, if your mom needs more help, that's more important.
Sure.
This is always going to be around, no matter what we do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's family and stuff that we have to take care of. We do have a reminder change in the program. We're going to have the Wayne and Mary baseball coach on next Monday, because I'm not trying to get over the 9:30 time because of I got to go downstairs to do my civic duties. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, so we're waiting for Coach Tyner to join us. So what else we got here? I got some. So what's on your mind with stuff that you've been seeing?
Well, it's called. This week is the World Series of Bowling in Reno, and like I said, I've been there, and you have 4 different oil patterns. That everyone has to contend with. You have the Viper, the Chameleon, the Shark, and think there's one more, like, I can't think of off the top of my head, but it is, and when Justin comes on here, he will agree with me on this. It is a grind. You have to qualify. Next week, starting Monday, and on FS1, you're going to have all the animal patterns live. Then that Sunday is the World Championship. So it's called it is a grind. You go plenty of bowling balls. It's, you've got to practice. You've got to, and the international flavor this year, Chris, I mean, you've got players, you got bowlers from Malaysia, Finland, who are up there that we've never heard of, and they have a shot to perhaps make a TV final and showcase what what they're made of.
Yeah. So we're still waiting for Chris Tyner to stop by. Their next game for Towson baseball is going to be this weekend. They got Cornell coming to town for a 3-game series at Schroeder Park. A doubleheader is scheduled for Saturday. It's supposed to be nice and warm this weekend. I know we got thunderstorms coming on Sunday here, severe, but they could probably get those games in, so they don't have to worry about playing under they should do like the old Wrigley Field, move the game the next day. Yeah. So that's the so I guess Coach Tyner he did have a busy week this week with
he did
with back-to-back games. He played West Virginia, and had a problem.
And it wasn't West Virginia run rule Towson, and I was sort of watching the game, and wasn't pretty, but that's why you play the game.
Yeah. What are you going to do tonight, Adam? Are you going to stay up a little bit later because there is a eclipse tonight?
I'll be.
You're not going to do it. Yeah, that's funny.
I'll see pictures. But I will be sound asleep. Yeah,
you can probably watch it tomorrow, probably.
I'll see all the pictures from everyone. But Adam will be sound asleep.
Yeah. Let me try to bring this up here. Where you can find it, if you're trying to find it, folks, it's going to be, the moon's going to be starting to look different before midnight. And then I guess here's a little more about it. We try to cover everything in this program. Yeah,
we do, yes, we do.
Yeah, our information guy. Yeah. So let's pull this up here. Hopefully the internet here. Moon will start looking different before midnight on Thursday. The eclipse will slowly start around 1 a.m.
Oh, I could find a way to stay awake. Well, maybe I will stay awake. You never know.
Yes, damn Stanley. And totally happens between 2:30 and 3:30 in the morning. So
I never know. But
and I do have to give you a report. Remember this is the day that I was supposed to know that we have I have jury duty tomorrow.
Did you get out of it?
Yeah. It's a big no tomorrow. You gotta bring people to court. You gotta bring people to court.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. So we're waiting for somebody to log in here. So maybe
So
Coach Tyner probably got sidetracked. But it happens.
Yeah, and Justin, it's 6:50. It's 6:11 out there in Reno. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let me bring this up on my. If he logs in, that'd be great. See here. So he is the World Championship. I guess he's. I'll see what the. There's all these different stats. It's like I'm trying to find out who's what. Going on here. Advancing around here. No, he didn't make the cut for the World Championship, or AKA the Old National Championship.
Yes.
Or maybe they could go back to the Old National Championship. Seriously.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Right now he is. I I guess they're competing after 12 rounds of the Scorpion pattern. And our friend,
that was the other one I could think of was Scorpion.
Yeah, Tim Floyd, our good, the man from Delaware, he's up on the leaderboard. EJ Taggart's 8th. Kyle Troop is it ended today. Dave and Thomas and Kyle will be on the cut line. Or right now, no, top 24 right now. So it looks like Justin just missed the cut. It's still he blows the. I guess they still do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
We'll get cut tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow is Sunday. It's going to be the best of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't bowl tomorrow. They actually do. They did it yesterday. So, and then we'll pull this up for Viper and the Viper Championship. Let's see here, the Viper. He was bowling really well in the Viper.
Justin Knowles did get a 300 in round 8 qualifying and round 7. So
yeah, and then it's the short. Yeah, this the other one. The other pattern.
Yeah.
The other lion one. I forget the name of it. It starts with a C. Sherman. Chameleon. Sorry, I'm going to get the words out of my mouth right now. But Chameleon. Zach Wilkins is in 10th right now. Jason Bonatti, Belmo's in 14th. AG's in 15th. Let's see here. He looks like not even on the leaderboard. Yeah, so he's probably long down here. But yeah, it's really hard, dude. It's like one of those, you said, it's like a grueling.
It's a grind.
Yeah. Grueling, games, you have to bowl like, you've been out there since what, beginning of March?
Yeah.
So we'll see here. Okay, Justin's actually in 6. He qualified after 12 of the shark pattern. So he's actually there. So speaking of shark, there is Justin. Let's bring in the
yeah. What's up, Justin?
How's it going?
Thanks for joining us short notice. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Get things taken care of. I need somebody.
Absolutely.
Just talk about the grind you guys have gone through all week out there in Reno with all the different oil patterns you guys have had to deal with.
I'm pretty sure we got here February 20th to bowl the tournament at Coconut Bowl first, the Albee tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like we've been here forever already, but the hardest part's all the free time. I mean, we bowled 6 games, and then you'd have 20 hours to just sit around, do nothing, and before you bowl again. Free time was tough. That was probably the hardest part, harder than bowling. But
wow.
Yeah, it's just a mental grind, especially with scores being pretty high this week. Only 6 game blocks. You really have no time to have a bad game. And a couple of the patterns, I averaged in the high 220s and finished, 70th, 90th, even averaging in the mid 220s. If you weren't striking, you were in deep trouble. But luckily, I struck enough on everything to make the World Championships and a big block on shark. But grueling, man. Our paddock is on the opposite side of the stadium. So, we're talking 1/8 of a mile walk to drag your bags to the pairs, which is insane. It already is tough. But the best bowlers in the world here, you have no breathing room. So you have no time to be sloppy, no time to be mentally exhausted. You just have to always be ready and on your game.
Yeah, and I understand that. And you probably need a manager to bring your bowling balls. Yeah,
that would be awesome if I had my own person to help me. That would be great.
I'd help you, Justin.
If you were here, buddy,
he's going to be at the he's going to be at the Tournament of Champions. So get that guy working.
Perfect.
Chris,
that's music to my ears. Chris. I love to hear it.
I'll help Justin.
You'll be Adam. You'll be like the caddy. You'll be like a master.
Thanks, Chris.
Perfect.
Yes, I'll be a
perfect
bowling caddy.
You have the jersey, right, Adam?
I do. Yes,
just wear that, and
you're
got
good.
The
Motown jersey. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're hyped.
yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to this.
Fine.
I'm gonna hold you to this.
I got it.
Justin, I'm helping you out big time because you need.
I
some help.
appreciate you. Hey,
I got it.
I like it. This is great.
I got it.
Big benefit. Oh, perfect.
No, it's called. It's around here somewhere. It's called. But I will
So
bring
you've
it
been
to
around Reno for a long time. How's the weather out there? Because I've been seeing that you guys have been having. Yesterday was a lot of wind around there yesterday.
It was cold. Yesterday was cold. Today's pretty cold. We had a few days in the 60s, but nothing really warm. It's been pretty cold the whole time we've been out here. Yeah. Yesterday was extremely windy.
Yeah, I heard that. It was like 50. I was watching the Weather Channel. I was like, oh, I know there's people out there. Yeah.
We're hearing that the mountain pass, like the from Sacramento-ish to here, they're getting like 3 feet today.
Oh, jeez.
So that's what we're hearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
We
crazy.
just had Dave Schroeder on. And he was talking about one time it was a blizzard here in Baltimore, and they had to do the tour on TV. And I guess they had to get through the snow. And he was like, the law enforcement told him not to drive, but he had to do it anyway.
Yeah, you have no choice. Yeah. What a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly. So you've been bowling in this World Series of bowling, and people don't, like you were saying, it's grueling. You got 6 games, and then you have a lot of downtime. What do you do in your downtime? Do you go and take a look at the city? You guys grab a friend to go to dinner? What to do in Reno? Because I've never been.
A lot of just hanging out with the other bowlers. I mean, we're in a casino, so you don't really want to be gambling every day. I mean, we've been here so long.
Yeah.
But naturally, you find yourself gambling and eating and just hanging out, exploring things around Reno. But I think I've seen every single thing in Reno now. So
like,
next year or the next 2 years from now when I come back, I'll be a tour guide.
I can be a
Just
tour
a few of us
guide.
were, a few of us were joking. A few of us joked to get a part-time job at Silver Legacy just to kill some downtime.
Yeah, you
See
should.
if we can work a couple days a week. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, can you see Justin? Can you see Belmo being a tour guide? Yeah, over here.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I might be driving on the wrong side of the road, though, unfortunately.
DJ Tackett.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. You rely a lot on your friends to keep you sane, and there's really not a whole lot going on here in the downtime. So watching a lot of the other squads, talking to your friends, learning information from them. But that's most of my time. You're looking at it. This is how I spend a good majority of it, sitting in the room on the phone.
And that's why when I texted you last night, you're like, "Are you available?" Like, yes, I am.
I was so ready. It was something to do, keep me busy for a few minutes. I was in 100%. Perfect.
I just know you're a go-through guy. I'm thinking he's sitting out there by himself.
I am sitting here doing nothing.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I got to joke with him a little bit. I saw a picture today that your quarterback from Miami, the girlfriend broke up with him.
Oh no.
Yeah, I saw. So I don't know if it's true or not. I saw something like somebody posted it on Instagram. I'm like, are you serious?
What? Hopefully we get the Carson Beck revenge tour this year. Let's hope for that.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about today. We had Coach Keeler on from Temple, and and this whole transfer portal. He has a GM strictly to do all that stuff.
That's crazy.
And it's like, what happened to college football back in the day when we were kids growing up? That we had people staying for 4 years or 5 years.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
you could build a team. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. 1 year we got to trade. I want to go to a new school because I'm not starting. I'm like, okay, give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, you're signing a $3-4 million NIL deals. It's crazy. I'm just, if we could get those for bowling, I will represent any company. This is for all of our viewers. Any company for the right price. Right here next to the Roto Grip logo. Perfect.
That'd be good.
Fine. Let's see here. You could have the Miami. I don't know if the Miami Hurricanes would want to be one of your sponsors, Justin.
I'm in. That'd be great.
Why not? I mean, you could throw out.
Little super fan thing that you might be onto something.
Well, thank you.
Thinking next level. I like that. For the record, Adam, I'm not paying you any royalties, but thanks for the idea. I appreciate that. I'm kidding.
I got an idea, Adam. I'm thinking during the ACC kickoff, if he's available, maybe you could fly to Charlotte and we could use him as a guest interviewer. And you could
that
go
would be
interview,
awesome.
and you could go meet Coach Cristobal and all the players, and we could do like a little segment with him, like he's a Pro Bowler talking to man. I don't know how we can pull that off.
That sounds great to me. You guys let me
Chris,
know. We
Chris,
can try to pull that off.
Chris, do that. Chris, do that.
I'm a magic man. I got magic somehow. Everybody thinks my brother goes, "How'd you pull these things off?" I'm like,
that'd be amazing.
Chris, you heard what Chris gets called. We'll get Justin, to help us in Charlotte.
You just snaps the fingers and it happens. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'll see what I could do, and maybe I could get an extra pass, and then all three of us could go down there, and we could. And and you could come down just strictly from Miami,
sure,
or you can stay around for the whole ACC thing and meet Bill Belichick.
That would be amazing. Yeah, well, I'm interested in North Carolina. Intriguing.
And give it to the PBA and have the PBA do like something they could put on their website.
This is sounding better.
I'm getting this like epiphany right now.
Chris, Chris, you're on something here. I mean, it's
making connections. I like this.
Yeah, we'll work on it. I think Tom Clark will love it because he will be like promoting his brand. Yeah.
Outreach.
I mean, having a Pro Bowler, interviewing college football coaches and players that'd be
amazing.
It's something you would never see.
Very out of the box.
Why not?
I think it'll be cool.
Things like that are the only ways to grow our audience. Yeah, thinking outside
the
box.
Amen to that, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can stay with us. I'm going to find a nice
great.
Yeah.
And we could go. And after we're done with the ACC media, then they have a media party, and you can go hang out with all the media people on ESPN and all these people that you see on college football Saturday.
Yeah.
And we know EJ and EJ Manuel, the Florida State guy, and Aaron McLean, and everybody at the ACC network. West Durham, all those people. Let me work on that. See I could talk to the folks at ACC if I could do that. If you're down with it, we could probably do it.
Yeah. Okay.
All the time.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what's the plan for you for the rest of the week? Tomorrow through next week, everybody's on TV if you can make it. So what's your schedule like for next
please keep me informed. Tomorrow we bowl the last round of 8 for a World Championship qualifying before they cut to 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then they bring the PBA juniors for the Junior National Championship. That's 2 days.
Okay.
I don't bowl my match play until Wednesday night for Shark. So all day Wednesday will be the Shark match play. So a lot of watching, PBA junior show, the Viper show, Chameleon shows. So I'll be a fan for a few days until my match is on Wednesday.
That's cool.
Cool.
Which is a cool. A lot of friends still in the cut. So
nice. That's awesome.
Just, I will say that on talk about all the international flavor that's there in Reno this year, because I've seen people from Malaysia that are up there in the top 24 and players not like.
Yeah.
I think the internet. There you go. There he is.
Yeah.
My internet's terrible. Sorry.
Yeah.
So just talk about
hotel internet's
I will.
not
So
good.
just talk about all the international flavor that's there at the World Series of Bowling this year in Reno.
Sure. The World Series proves every year that, a lot of the best bowlers in the world aren't on tour. It's a pretty small, secluded field. And, there's a lot of amazing bowlers, but there's so many great bowlers not from America that don't really get a big chance to come bowl out here. And every World Series, you see more and more talent from overseas. I mean, there's so much untapped talent. And, part of the good thing about the tour is its exclusivity and, it's smaller. It makes it feel more important. But, events like this show that there's plenty of talent around. Just a lot of guys who don't get the opportunity until events like this. But, Darren Ong is a big example. I mean, I feel like that guy bowled 300 every day this week. He's bowling incredible. A lot of great guys are getting the chance to showcase it, and there's a ton of great bowlers not bowling the tour, so it's good to see him out here bowling this event.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, how about this? I'm gonna let you go, but we'll work on that good idea for the summer. Yeah, and you and I will. You know, your agent will talk
That'd
to
be
my
amazing.
agent. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, I don't want
Sounds
to say
great.
yes. We can
Perfect.
We'll do what best we can, and we'll be
Sure.
a cool thing to do. We'll do a little segment. We'll do a show from there. It'll be part of our segment down there.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. I would love to do it.
Yeah,
keep me
we just have
informed.
to post it up.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll keep it posted. Yeah, I'll keep it posted with it.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate that.
All
All right, thanks. It was good talking to you guys again.
All right, talk to you soon.
See you, fellas.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye, guys.
See you. All right, that's Justin Knowles, who is a big Miami Hurricane fan, and that's a great idea.
Why not, Chris? Why not? I mean, you and Justin at the
We'll talk to what's his name, Kevin.
Kevin Davis, the ACC.
Kevin Davis, and asked him if we could do a segment with. We could bring. He's a big Miami Hurricane person. He's going to help us on the program that week.
Yeah.
And he could, he knows college football, and it'll help promote the professional bowlers tour, because we could make that as a thing for us to get people to tune around and meet him.
Yeah.
And Miami will be glad to talk to a pro bowler, because they'll be like, "Hey, the guy likes Miami. That's awesome."
Why not? I mean,
I
think
that's game. We'll work with it. Yeah, we got all spring long to work on it.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like doing something to stand out better than other people.
Why not? I mean, why not having? Think
outside the box.
You see, at the Super Bowl, you see, you see people from outside of sports asking questions. So, hey, if Justin's game with it, if we can do it, I say, let's roll with this, Chris.
Yeah, maybe we can talk to Kevin Davis about it. And tell him, hey, he's going to work with us.
Yeah.
And maybe he could give us a pass, and we'll get one of those cameras to follow him, throughout the ACC kickoff.
Yeah.
But we're talking about it. We're going to do something in the summer. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up here, but we'll get Coach Tyner on next Monday. Hopefully he's okay and everybody's fine. He'll probably call me later tonight, probably, apologizing for not coming on. It's okay. It happens. But thanks for joining us. We went coast to coast. We went all the way from San Diego to Indianapolis to Pittsburgh to Akron to Seattle to Philadelphia to Texas to West Virginia to and also out to Reno tonight. So we cover it all here on the program. And we'll be back here next Monday night. I know it's St. Patty's Day, but we're going to do it at 6:30 to probably 7:30. So everybody who wants to go out and get an adult beverage, be careful. Don't be dumb.
Use Uber and use Lyft.
Yeah, use Uber or call a friend if you need a ride. Say, hey, buddy, you pick me up. Yeah. We're going to leave you tonight with this song was actually, let me bring this up here. This song was number 16 on one of the charts, 17 on this date in 1982. Classic 1980 song, Key Largo. So we're going to leave you with this song because the video. So we appreciate you joining us. We will see you all next Monday. We'll get ready for the NCAA tournament with everybody next week. So, and plus we got Chris Edwards from Duke Women's Basketball Broadcaster. We'll have him on because tonight is his wife's birthday. So happy birthday to Miss Edwards. Tonight for his, hopefully everything's good. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you all next Monday, and good night.
Wrapped around each other, trying so hard to stay warm. That first cold winter together, lying in each other's arms, watching those old movies, falling in love so desperately. Honey, I was your hero, and you were my leading lady. We had it all, just like